Welcome to a world of thrills, a world of drama, of capes and tights, a world where death is a revolving door. Welcome to the Geek Matrix.
Well, hello. Hi.
Hello.
Rob, nobody can hear you.
I muted my mic during the countdown, and I forgot to
Well,
unmute it.
well, there we go.
There's always one of us that does that. All right, hello everybody. Welcome to the Geek Matrix DC Comics Review Show, episode number 238. Yeah. Yeah. My name
Probably.
is Rob. You've heard their voices. This is Brandon and Josh. Say hello.
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 Yeah.
Is it
We
237
also
or 238?
230. I thought it was 230. I could be wrong.
It's definitely one of them, and I don't know which.
Russell,
Yeah.
don't start already with "It's the lame crew." Or it's the slam crew. Yeah, that was a lame comeback. You're lame.
Russell doesn't know what he's talking about. He watches AEW for crying out loud.
Ouch.
Oh,
I mean, you let come on now. I mean, really.
he he plays cloak and dagger as a healer. He doesn't know what good healing is. He doesn't work for his healing stats. He doesn't know what it's like to be in the back line and be shit on by an Iron Fist.
Wonderful.
Yeah, if it's not an Iron Fist, it's Spider Man. But that's enough Marvel Rivals talk for one episode, I think.
When there's only two of us playing it, then yeah, I'll give it that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that didn't stop us before with the wrestling, but
Fair enough. Fair enough.
but we will be fair to Brandon. Brandon, I apologize.
I'm just chilling. I
Right
don't
on.
know what that means, but the way Josh said it sounded insulting, so I assume it's bad.
A little.
Um, well, we're
Well,
here every week talking about the DC Comics releases for the week, and this is no different. We got about six books this week that we're going to be covering, and stay tuned. So later today or tomorrow, depending on time constraints, we will be doing our absolute roundup for the month, involving Absolute Wonder Woman, Superman, and Batman from February. And next month, we'll be adding two new books to that list as Absolute Green Lantern and Absolute Flash release with their new number ones, and in April, Absolute Martian Manhunter with number one will be coming. That line is quickly expanding, and I'm all
yeah, it's starting to feel like an X title.
for it. Well, that's a perfect segue into our first news item. X titles are getting canceled.
Grrr.
To the
Only some.
surprise of no one.
Yeah, I mean, I was a little surprised because I thought they were all pretty good. Let's see. I know it's
You
X
thought they were
Factor, X Force, and I believe it's NYX
Mm-hmm.
are being canceled. I was a big purveyor of X Factor from like the first issue. I have not read NYX. I don't know that I ever wanted to. I was kind of interested, but I just wanted to like take things slow. I guess it's too late now.
And then he even ended up like an X Factor.
X Force, you
X Force, yeah,
mean?
excuse me.
Yeah.
Written
Wow.
by Jeffrey Thorne.
Yeah. That surprised the hell out of me, but here we are. But it's a hell of a good book. Not gonna lie.
Hell
X
of a good
Factor and
book.
X Force.
Hell of a good time.
Yeah. I thought all the X books so far were pretty good. Um, I do know a lot of people that love the Hickman run. That loved the Krakoa era. Are not big fans of it, but
That is an understatement.
very much so. But quite honestly, I'm enjoying all the X titles. So I think it's a shame to see some of these titles leave so soon. Mark Russell's doing some great stuff on X Factor. So
Agreed. I think both X Factor, X Force, regular X Men, and Uncanny have all been hitting it out of the park as of late.
pretty much.
And have yet to read the latest Ultimate Spider-Man. Sorry, guys, but
Oh,
as far as the X titles go, they have been they've been fantastic. Really have.
yeah. There's so
I'm
many good
thoroughly
segues.
impressed anyway.
You gave us like 3 segues in that one sentence, and I don't know which way to go, but I want to keep talking about Xbox. Have you caught up to X Factor?
Yes.
Okay. So did you?
Brandon, are you reading X Factor at all?
I'm pretty much tapped out of most of the X books. I gave them like 3 or 4 issues. Well, Uncanny and the main book I was reading for a little longer, but yeah, it was not for me.
Fair enough. Fair
Wait a second. You got me to start reading the X titles and then
enough.
stopped?
I think that was mostly me.
Yeah, I don't think that was me. I was kind of lukewarm about it going into it, and then was like, maybe this isn't so bad.
Yeah.
And then I was like, maybe it's not that good either. So
I've been enjoying it, but all right.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Latest issue of X Factor, when it came out, I sent you a message saying there's one line in there that's rough. I don't want to like. When did you read? Did you read it when it came out? So I don't know if you might remember now. But
Yeah, I read it. I read it the day it dropped.
great.
Which line in particular?
A line from Angel when he walks into the room
Uh-huh.
and he sits down next to I forget I don't remember her name now, but she goes,
Polaris?
no, not Polaris. No, Polaris isn't on that team.
Or I'm sorry. Continue.
Yeah. um. Oh, but she starts talking to him and says, "I thought you had a healing factor," and he goes, "I thought you had a boyfriend."
Ah,
And this was the one where her boyfriend died in the previous issue.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
that was
That
who?
that was Angel that said that.
Yeah.
Oh.
Which honestly, it was a hell of a line, but also felt a little out of character for Warren Worthington.
Yeah.
You know,
Depending on
he's
what history you want to go with.
yeah,
I mean, maybe if he was Archangel, but
yeah.
based on the
just
covers, I don't think he's
regular
Archangel
Angel.
currently.
He's not Archangel anymore, but he's supposed to act like him.
Apparently. Um, Another thing I want to shout out in that issue is that they brought in Forget Me Not, the famous X Man that nobody remembers. Thought that was a nice little touch. I like that. That was a fun character. um, that's enough about that. We can't talk about Ultimate Spider-Man because somebody hasn't read it.
Boo. I can take my headphones off for a minute and just wave at me if you'd like.
I guess we'll just have to wait.
Yeah.
But prepare yourself. It is a hell of an issue. But
Oh, God,
every
is
issue's
it
kind of
ever.
like that. But this one
All
especially.
right.
Yeah.
Good.
Though I will
I
say
like
this
to
is
hear
not a
that.
spoiler. This is not a spoiler. Just letting you know, Josh. But there's theories floating around the internet about the identity of Mysterio.
Huh. I think
Oh
I know
yeah?
when you're talking about. I might have just seen that post on a
Yeah.
particular subreddit.
That many people, and I think this might be founded, and not a spoiler still, but considering what happened in the latest issue, that Mysterio is Gwen Stacy.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Hmm.
It is interesting.
Wonder what could be done with that.
Well, you'll have to read the latest issue to find out.
Indeed.
What else happened? Ultimate X-Men. Iron Man, Fantastic Four. I read all of those. Red Hulk #1 came out. Brandon, you were a big talker of that one. It's on my pull list.
Are we gonna beat around the bush all night? Or are we gonna get to the big stuff?
What's the big stuff?
I knew this was gonna happen. A week goes by and it's like it feels like a year, but literally the day after we finished recording last week, all the Comics Pro news just exploded out of the gate,
Oh
and a
shit, that's
million
right.
different things came out that
Yeah.
we haven't even gotten into yet.
Oh my
But there's
god, no, I
two
forgot.
there's two particularly big ones, and I'm surprised one of them you didn't want to mention, because I thought you were gonna come on here
Oh
all
shit.
I'm Mr.
Oh.
Right.
I forgot.
I'm Mr. Right. I figured, but
no, I need to bring that up. You're right.
yeah.
I am.
But
Mr.
no,
Right.
let's continue to talk about X-Men.
Well, I wanted to bring up Red Hulk at least because you were talking about issue #1 and that was your cup of tea.
Yeah, no, Red Hulk #1, Ben Percy and Jeff Shaw are the creative team. I'm not mistaken. Honestly, like I said, I just kind of read this on a whim. I had some extra time, and I was like, it looks like the art looks good, so I'll check out the first issue, see what it's about. And it is
Yeah.
very much a tie-in to Emperor, not Emperor Doom. I'm sorry, the One World Under Doom storyline. Um, but like is just a pretty solid idea that is tied into that. I won't go too into detail on plot spoilers, but I came away from it like, yeah, I actually really want to see where the story goes. Red Hulk as a character for me is not someone that I'm particularly interested in generally, but I like the story enough that I'll keep reading to see where it goes.
Yeah.
And it's got an interesting cast of characters too, which I kind of like.
I mean, I'm in the same boat as you. Red Hulk is kind of like, is it
Mm.
necessary? He's had some interesting stories, but not really a top tier character.
Yeah.
But that first, like that cover for issue #1 is kind of catching.
Yeah, it's just at the very least, I'm like, I kind of want to know more. So
Yeah.
I would definitely say check it out. Having some familiarity with One World Under Doom is helpful, but not entirely essential.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, there's not much plot has happened yet
Yeah,
when it comes to One World Under Doom. It's just he's got the world
yeah,
under him.
and his Sorcerer Supreme.
Yeah.
In his hands, he's got the whole Doom world. In his hands.
Pretty much. Pretty much. Okay, well, we can get to the stuff I forgot to talk about. Damn, Brandon, thank you for reminding me.
I was
knew there
shocked. I
something
was
I was
like,
forgetting.
there was so much, man.
So Comics Pro was last week. We did talk about a couple of announcements last week that had come out while we were recording or before we recorded last week. But there was one that came out after that I was excited to bring up, and that is Marvel and DC have announced that they are going to cross over again
Dun dun
Later.
dun.
later
In,
this
like-
year.
30 years,
Yeah.
which, based on the announcement that they gave, you have to assume that, like, if they're saying these books are coming out this year and that's definitive, all of this stuff is already in development.
Yeah.
Yup.
Which means the news and like the previews and all that stuff is coming real soon.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm biting my nails over here. Like, what is it gonna be?
And there's artwork attached to the article, but I don't know where it's
That
from.
is from the Marvel DC omnibus cover, so it's nothing
Oh, okay.
nothing official yet.
Fair enough.
But yeah, no, if they're planning on having this stuff out even by the end of the year, that means it's been in production for
Yeah.
a while.
Yep.
So for everybody that read Doomsday Clock
Oh my
and
god,
got
here you
to
go.
issue 12 and read that box and said, "Oh my god, I can't wait." Vindication.
And then Rob
Vindication is
will
ours.
be vindicated but slightly forlorn when we get DC Marvel All Access Super Access 3 in 4 months from now.
4 months
I'm
from yeah,
calling
but
it.
in 5 years from now, Secret Crisis
Oh
number
my
one,
god.
written by Jeff Johns,
You will just
and
not let this
and
go.
and Jeff Johns, and
And
oh my god, I'm blanking on names. Why do I keep doing this?
and then
Jonathan Hickman.
Well, even if he doesn't do that book, that's probably not going to happen. I do hope he at least gets to do something for whatever this upcoming crossover is going to be.
Yeah. Can you imagine Secret Crisis co-written by Al Ewing and Jeremy Adams, or Al Ewing and I was gonna say Al Ewing and Rom V, but I wasn't too thrilled on that Venom run.
I can't imagine Secret Crisis being written by them, but I can't imagine Doctor Strange Fate being written by them. I'll tell you
Oh
that
my
much.
god, yes.
Because I know Al Ewing has an affinity for Doctor Strange, having written Defenders.
Yeah.
And one of Jeremy Adams' first stories was that Black Adam or Doctor Fate? I can't remember. Something like that. Something magic. So no, not even that. He also did that Flash issue with Doctor Fate. That was really cool.
Yes.
So
That was
imagine
really cool.
a mystical merging, if you will, of those two incredible stories into
Yeah.
one. Hence Doctor Strange Fate.
you
Like
cracked the
thinking about
code.
it, you'd need a current writer that's written for both books or both companies, and has written like really good stuff for both companies. And I'm
And
trying to think.
make Moon Man.
Do you though? What if perhaps this is the opportunity for certain Marvel writers of great skill to, I don't know, how would you phrase it? Dip their toe into the distinguished competition?
I,
That's what
see,
I'm hoping for.
I
Potentially.
see
Anyway.
what you did there with distinguished competition.
Yes.
Yeah.
I wish I came up with that, but that's an old nickname Marvel heads had for DC. But that's part of what I hope happens as well. Is that you definitely have people like a Mark Waid or
Tom
there's
Taylor.
Tom Taylor who have flipped back and forth, and Chip Zdarsky
Yeah.
who flip back and forth and have done great work at both companies, but also people who definitely are DC fans who maybe get to, do something a little fun.
Okay. Like make Moon Man.
Like make Moon Man.
Yes.
Or,
What is
for the
Moon
love of
Man?
God, can we get
Half
poor.
Moon Knight, half Batman.
I'm sure there
Yep.
could be a better name than Moon Man.
Yeah.
What? Bat Knight? No. Moon Man.
Look, I'm only saying this because for the past, 5 years, I've had this fantasy in my head of Peter Tomasi writing for Spider-Man. And damn it, this is the closest we're probably going to get before he goes full in with Ghost Machine. I mean, I
Yes.
guess he kind of already
See,
has, but
Yes.
Spider Boy can't happen now because Marvel has a different Spider Boy, so that isn't happening. Do we think it's going to be amalgam, or do we think it's going to be a
No,
story?
I think Amalgam's just kind of left in the '90s. I
You
mm,
would
think?
love to see like some Amalgam characters maybe be reintroduced into the canon, and not necessarily combine the universes, but like say that the Amalgam universe still exists as a nexus for both multiverses,
mm-hmm.
right? The Marvel multiverse is, as far as we know, bloody infinite. Every universe is just numbered. There could be an infinite number of fucking universes. The DC universe since Dark Crisis has also become infinite again, and they've only just begun to explore the infinite number of universes that exist there. So it only stands to reason by law of averages that maybe the Amalgam universe is a crux for
Mm-hmm.
both multiverses, connecting the two as a bridge, and that
Well,
would
Well,
be
the
what
haven't
implication
they
in
both?
previous, yeah, the
Haven't they
implication in
both
previous.
embraced?
Oh shit! Never mind.
Sorry.
I was just gonna say
Let
the
me.
implication in previous continuities.
oh, thank
Fine, I win, I guess. The implication in previous continuities was that the Marvel universe existed beyond the source wall. It was kind of this wild
Yeah.
theory. I can't remember if that was JLA Avengers or DC Marvel All Access, but But that was the idea. Was like, what lies beyond the source wall? An entirely different universe full of colorful superheroes that you may or may not know. But I like the idea that maybe that can be a part of it, yes. But like Rob said, like the real Marvel universe, the 616 that we know, exists beyond the source wall. But like Rob said, there are variations of that universe that exist within the DC universe, like the amalgam stuff, or even I don't know how they make it make sense, but in the old DC Marvel crossovers like X Men and Teen Titans and Superman and Spider Man, they had this. It was sort of like a weird logic where they basically shared the same universe. So they like the Teen Titans know that the X Men exist. The X Men know the Teen Titans exist.
Huh.
They're just kind of in that same universe. And
Weird.
I always like the idea that in an infinite multiverse, there's a universe where that still is true. Um, so I hope that they could also do something like that, where it's like you go back to that universe and they just exist aside each other, you know.
Yeah. That'd be interesting. Or if they hadn't already done the whole counter Earth thing, it could have been like that.
Haven't okay. Has Marvel made use of the term omniverse at all? Because I feel like it has, but I could be mistaken.
I'm not sure. I don't think so.
Well, now I gotta look it up.
Hmm.
Marvel Omniverse.
Like,
Omniverse, Marvel database. So, how long has it been mentioned? Creator, well, back in 2000.
hmm.
Back in 2000.
Sounds like a Bendis thing.
Well, see, DC has started. It's actually Alex Ross,
Ah. Oh,
but
okay.
Yeah, Bendis didn't start doing mainstream Marvel stuff till like 2001, 2002.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
Alex Ross and
Be a
Dougie
bit.
Braithwaite. But Universe X and number two, the Omniverse is the collection of every single universe, multiverse, megaverse, dimension, alternate or pocket, and realm. Now, that's exactly how DC has been describing their Omniverse
Yeah,
since Dark Crisis.
yeah.
Now,
Well, I
this
think
on
Doomsday
the
Clock was
Marvel
the first book to
database.
use the name, but no one paid attention to that, which is unfortunate.
Which book?
Doomsday Clock, I think, was the first one to coin it the Omniverse.
Oh, you're
Which
right.
was
You're
like,
right.
yeah, because there was also that other note that people completely overlooked, which was each time the universe restarts, it makes a copy of what the previous iteration of the universe looked like, and that exists in a separate realm. So somewhere out there in the Omniverse, there is a version of the post-crisis Earth. There's a version of the New 52 Earth that just exists untouched. But
All
no
right.
one can do
So,
anything with that, which is unfortunate.
Which is crazy.
I mean,
according to the
I
official handbook of the Marvel Universe and alternate universes and Marvel database, the Omniverse is indeed the collection of every single universe, multiverse, megaverse, dimension, alternate or pocket, and realm. This includes not only Marvel Comics, but also DC Comics, Image, Dark Horse, Wild Heart, or Wildstorm, Archie, Harvey, Shueisha, Boom Studios, Rebellion Dynamite, IDW, Graphic India, Derby Pop, Vertigo, Oni Press, Udon, Valiant, Kodansha, Shogakukan, and every universe ever mentioned or seen.
Shogakukan.
Thank you. And an infinite amount never mentioned or seen, including our very own world. Everything is in the omniverse, and there is only one omniverse. That's how it's described by Marvel, and that's how it's described by DC. So I'm just assuming that they are just acknowledging that in the omniverse, everything exists,
That also
and
implies
that's
that
that's the only fucking crossover necessary.
Yeah, that also implies that, and Rob, you as our resident Dragon Ball fan can appreciate it, that if Shueisha and all its properties
Oh.
exist in some form in the Marvel universe, that
Oh.
somewhere out there in the infinite Marvel omniverse, there exists a Dragon Ball universe that is
Yeah.
yet to be discovered.
Well, I think that's it. I think it's just I don't think it's the Marvel Omniverse or the DC Omniverse. I
DC
think it's
Omniverse.
just one Omniverse.
Yeah.
Mm.
But for the love of God, don't let the Dragon Ball universe be discovered.
Oh,
Because the last thing we need is a rehash for the
God.
millionth time of who wins, Goku or Superman.
Well, that way it'd be official.
No,
Yeah. I don't think anybody wants that.
because no matter what, you're gonna piss off half the fan base, and it's gonna start a flame war. Reddit's going to implode.
Okay, sure, you've seen Goku versus Superman, but what about Goku versus the Immortal Hulk?
Let's not start this today.
Goku versus the Immortal Hulk.
Mhm.
Kaboom.
Okay, well, he actually in
Oh my
Dragon Ball
God.
He episode
What about
in the Perfect Cell arc. Perfect Cell was also immortal because he had the regeneration of Piccolo.
in Marvel? Who's
Repeated.
in Marvel? Who's below? Who's directly below the one above all?
The one below him?
Right.
I don't know.
Who's above? I don't know. Fucking Jack Kirby.
Jack Kirby.
Oh,
All
wait,
right, fine.
did you say who's the one below or the one above? The one above all.
Who is below the one above all?
Oh, okay.
Like, okay, so like there's the DC equivalent, the below them would be the Spectre, right?
Yeah.
So who
Or
would fill
I
that
guess
role
the
in Marvel?
presence, really.
The
The Spectre
presence.
is an agent of the presence.
Yeah. Well, I thought the presence was technically like the one above all.
Basically,
That's
yeah.
that's what I'm saying. So like, okay, so for DC it's the presence, and then the next level down is the Spectre. So with Marvel, there's the one above all, who's the next level down from them.
Galactus?
Yeah, I don't know if
In the
there's
same sort of way, like a representation or like a tie to
or an
it,
agent.
like
Yeah,
I don't know if
yeah,
they
like
Agent
agent
of.
of.
I don't know if they
No?
have one.
Yeah.
What?
Where does I've completely forgot. I know that the bad side of him is called the Void, but where does the Sentry get his power from?
I think it is from the Void.
Yeah.
Both sides, the good and the bad.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Russell, you say
Oh,
the
oh,
Omniverse
wait,
is
no, I
Fortnite,
did know
but Where do you
this.
think Spider-Man got into Fortnite from?
Josh, the answer that you're looking for is the Living Tribunal, because I was like, I know
There
there's
we
someone
go.
that acts as the servant or vessel of the one above all.
That's that. See, I was thinking so. So there we go. Now we need a three-way fight between the Living Tribunal, the Spectre, and One Punch Man.
Oh my God, dude, if that was written by Al
Why One
Ewing,
Punch Man?
that shit would break the internet. I don't
Yeah,
really
I
understand
know,
One Punch
right?
Man, but
If you're gonna do it, you need the Living Tribunal, the Spectre, and Grand Zeno
I don't know who that is.
from Dragon Ball Super.
Oh, see,
He is
always with the
basically
Dragon
God.
Ball.
He's basically God. You
One
brought him
Punch
in.
Man is basically God. That's why I threw him in there.
the Sage of the Six Paths from Naruto. Just so it's fair
Yeah.
for the other weebs out there.
Okay, fuck. If we're doing this,
Nope, it's
Yeah, it's
you
just gonna be
guys.
a
If you're
gauntlet
bringing
of all
anime
the
into it,
superpowers.
then it's One Punch Man or it's
you
what's her face from
started
Airbender.
it. You started it.
What's her name? Starts with a K. Korra.
Korra.
Well, I mean, I guess yeah, any avatar would fit the bill, but you probably want like the
One Punch Man or
first
Korra?
avatar, right?
No, just
Who's the
because that
most
would tick you
powerful?
off.
Who's the most powerful avatar?
Korra.
I don't know about that one.
No, I don't.
I mean,
Yeah, it is the first Avatar, I believe.
realistically, like the only one that's alive that I would say is the most powerful. Keep in mind, I fell off of Avatar, so I never finished it. But it would be Aang, would it not?
I
Yeah,
mean, at his prime, presumably, yes. But I
still
don't even
not
know if
One Punch
that's.
Man though.
I still
He's a
don't even
god.
know if that's necessarily true because I really don't know that much about the other avatars and what their respective power levels are. Like being able to bend all four elements is a bare minimum, but to actually use them in truly godlike ways requires more skill than your average avatar might have. So I don't know. I'm just gonna say Aang too.
uh,
But still, One Punch Man fits the bill more than any of the other ones because I mean he's basically a god.
I mean, not really.
he's just super
He's
strong.
Yeah, he's
He's way
very
more than super
strong.
strong. Never
I
breaks a
Yeah,
sweat. He's no idea what the full capabilities of his powers are.
all he did, push-ups, sit-ups, and plenty of juice. That was it.
That's all he's aware that he's done.
I haven't watched season 2, so I don't know.
He doesn't Okay, well then I'm not telling you anymore.
All right.
I only read the manga. I didn't watch the anime. No, I also did not finish season one.
Okay.
All right, what else is there,
Last battle.
gentlemen?
Last battle. You have.
That's what they all say.
You have. I'm trying to think who would be a good competition here. Okay, Ghost Rider versus, we'll say, fuck it, John Constantine
Mm.
versus Yusuke from Yu Yu Hakusho.
Ooh, I would probably go with I don't know, Ghost Rider or something. That one feels like it's hard to scale, to be honest,
It
because
really is.
with
Like,
Constantine,
I just wanted to have Yusuke in there because I love Yu
yeah,
Yu Hakusho, but I don't
hell
know who
yes,
could fight him.
yeah, yeah. That one feels hard to scale because I also don't know which Constantine we're using. If this is like DC Universe Constantine, he's like an above average magician, but he's not spectacular. You know,
Yeah.
maybe not on the level of like Zatara or something, or Doctor Fate. And then Ghost Rider. Well, I mean, aside from the penance stare and the chains, what else really does Ghost Rider bring to the table?
Immortality.
I guess that is a positive.
Yeah.
Well, not
But
really an offensive
Yusuke's
tool, but
whole bag is hunting spirits and demons
mm,
and killing them with his spirit pistol.
yeah.
Okay, fine. Ghost Rider versus Blue Devil.
Now that I
Versus
actually would want to
Yusuke.
see. Both cursed by demons.
Yeah.
Ghost Rider versus Raven. That's what we want.
Oh,
I don't know. I'm
Trigon.
actually I'm with the first one because they do actually kind of have similar backstories. I think they were both like stuntmen technically to some degree, maybe
I
less so
think
with Johnny
yeah,
Blaze.
Yeah. He was
Yeah,
like
and
he was like a movie stunt guy, though, wasn't he? Blue Devil.
Yeah,
yeah. Yeah, both like yeah. Johnny Blaze I think was like evil Knievel type,
Yeah.
whereas yeah, Blue Devil movie stunt guy, both cursed by demons, both had their appearances ravaged. So yeah, there's more there than you might think.
Yeah.
Maybe you should write that one.
Maybe I should. Blue Devil versus Ghost Rider. Hunted by Yusuke.
Yes.
this guy.
Oh my god. It really will be like the 90s. We'll have
Oh,
a
yeah.
three character team up. It'll be great.
Yeah. And they're all hunting Mephisto.
They're all hunting Mephisto and Blackheart and
And Black.
fucking what's his face?
Fucking Nero.
Predator
Yeah.
from the Star Sapphire.
Yeah. How much of a fucked up team up would it be for Neron and Mephisto?
Kaboom.
That would be
That's
crazy. But
that
also,
would
they
be
would not work together at all because they'd just be lying to each other the entire time.
yeah. Yeah.
They're like, let's make a deal. No, let's make a deal.
Necron and
I'm making a
Dormammu.
deal.
Let's make a deal. No, let's make a deal. No, let's make a deal. No, let's make a deal.
Well, it's more like I'm. He's like, just to be clear, I'm making this deal, and he's like, no, I'm making this deal. He's like, no, 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 I'm making this deal.
The soul is mine.
And then they eventually start making deals, but they don't realize
Combat's
that
in this now.
it's like it counterintuitive the entire time. Like Neron promises, "Oh, I'm gonna, give up my demon hordes or something if you give me an ounce of your power." And then um, Mephisto is like, "Oh, I'll basically do the same thing, but in reverse," and it just cancels each other out, or something like that.
Anything is possible.
Yeah. So I got spaced
Yeah.
out for a second with just how big this multiverse could be if you factor in Mortal Kombat, and then with the Mortal Kombat and Injustice DLCs, you include like RoboCop and Terminator and Rambo, and
Anything
all
that's
sorts of
anything that's Warner Brothers, buddy.
and my dad.
It says everything that's ever been imagined and hasn't. That's what the last line said on Omniverse.
I think it was Ty Templeton. So my dad had a thing he brought up every so often.
Uh,
Um, Ty Templeton, I think it was, back in the
Hmm.
day, put a video on YouTube. It was something like 15 minutes where he went through every TV crossover and connected the dots on every single one. And by the end of the entire fucking thing, came to the conclusion and his hypothesis that all of reality exists in the mind of the kid at the end of St. Elsewhere.
uh, yeah. You ever
Wow.
wake up one day and think about whether or not you're someone else's dream?
Yeah. So that even that just like I don't even want to go that far. I'm gonna
It's
see if I
getting
can
too
pull up that video
existential
and
for
send it
me.
to you guys. But yeah, I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure it was Ty Templeton came up with that and just went fucking ham. But yeah. All right. What other news was there?
A
The
certain
news
pointy
that we're
ear.
actually the dream of Deadpool, and the
Oh,
sick joke is him breaking the
dear
fourth
God.
wall to us.
If that is true, I don't want to live through
No.
whatever cruel joke is potentially coming up in the next announcement.
Like,
One that I was pretty excited for. I mean, I still am pretty excited for, but also it was just such a what the fuck announcement. I couldn't believe it. But as we all know, H2SH is starting next month. That's Hush Part 2.
Oh God,
Um,
yeah. I was like,
but
what the fuck is
the
that?
big question on everyone's mind is who's next? What next? What's gonna happen next?
Right.
And we've got our answer in literally the most like out of left field pick you could have possibly imagined, because the next creative team taking over for Batman is none other than Matt Fraction and Jorge Jimenez. And I saw a post on Instagram
I'm
like
so excited.
this was like, yeah, like 9 o'clock last week, and I thought I was dreaming. I thought I was going crazy like Deadpool. I was like, this can't be right. Like, how is this even possible? How could,
Yeah.
of all people, Matt Fraction, who like literally made jokes about writing Nightwing and sex criminals letter pages, be the next writer? But it's true. It is not a rumor. It is in fact very real. And there are some preview images out there, so naturally it shocked the internet. But also, I thought it was kind of crazy because literally earlier that day, we also got the announcement that Chip Zdarsky was going to be taking over Captain America. So in my mind, I have to imagine that there's a back and forth between them where it's like, Chum, I hate to do this to you, but I'm totally going to upstage you right now because you thought you were big shit taking over Captain America. Well, I'm doing Batman, so ha ha ha. And people are probably going to like my run more than you. So anyway, I saw that, super excited. Have
Yeah.
no idea what this take is going to be, but it seems to be fairly optimistic with a whole new suit, whole new logo, a whole new outlook. So a lot of very interesting things coming on the horizon. But Sex Criminals fans, we're eating good. We got two of the best on two of the biggest books in the industry right now.
Hell yeah.
Hawkeye fans were eating good too. Like just knowing Fraction's Hawkeye run, I can't wait to see what he has in store for Batman.
Oh yeah. Selfishly, I almost wish David Aja was doing the art too, but that
Yeah,
would probably be pretty hard to snag.
I have a feeling Josh would hate it. It's very, I mean, for Batman, it's very muted.
Very appropriate, yeah. It's like, it's got that David Mazzucchelli kind of gritty, thick line style.
But all the faces were very dull.
It depends. It depends on the story. It depends on the feel.
Yeah.
I often use the phrase the art fits the story well, and that doesn't necessarily mean that I like it, but it means that it fits that fucking story whether I like it or not. I have to appreciate that, you know?
Yeah, that's fair.
Mm.
My only other question coming out of this, as much as I'm excited for Matt Fraction writing Batman, is what dirt does Jorge Jimenez and Tomamori have on the editors in the Bat office that they get paired with every single fucking writer from the last 5 years?
Because they say, hey man,
If it ain't
we're
broke,
gonna need an entire issue and cover drawn in about 45 minutes. Who got it? Jorge is always like looking around and going, me, I'll
Yeah.
do it.
Because I've never seen such a tenure on a single artist before.
it is
Or
pretty
how, I
crazy.
mean,
Like the only other
Brandon was
person I
the
can,
one that mentioned to me about his fast drawing techniques, and just seeing it is just like wow.
Yeah.
yeah. I mean him and Dan Moore are like famously super fast. That's why Dan Moore can draw 3 books at one time, which is blows my mind. All six
And
issues,
so
mind
well.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah, all 6 issues. Like that is 22 pages of content. You're talking over like 140 pages in 6 months, which should not be feasible, but somehow they do it. I hope they are keeping themselves healthy. Yeah, the only other person I can think of is like I don't know, fucking Jim Aparo or Tony Daniel maybe. Those are the only people that I know that have had runs that have like continued with separate writers.
Yeah. But even then, like,
Man, I mean,
that's
when
only
okay,
one or two
if you're
writers
the
that have
best there
runs that go
is
on for like
without
6
Dan
years.
Moore, without being Dan
Chris
Moore
Dunn
and Jim
maybe.
Lee,
Yeah.
you know, you're there. Nobody can draw Batman like Jorge Jimenez. I mean, that's all there is. I mean, other than Dan Moore and Jim Lee,
Yeah.
and they're doing other shit. So Jim Lee should be drawing more. I
I don't
thought,
think
He
he
should.
can. He's not a monthly artist. He hasn't been. I don't know. I don't think he's ever been a monthly artist. Honestly, that was the biggest flaw of Wildcat. Supposedly in the '90s, you'd have one book that came out in April, and you'd have another book that came out April the next year. It's just not a. It's not a monthly artist. That's why, like, apparently they've been working on Hush 2 for like a year and a half, because they're like, this book is coming out on time. There are not going to be any delays, but there probably still will be.
there better not be.
I don't see how there could be.
I mean, they're doing it in like 2 6-issue chunks because I think they're also anticipating like we need to make sure all of this shit is done. So I assume yeah the next part is coming next year, but all
Wait,
6 issues
what?
presumably will come out on time because they've given him like a year and a half to draw this.
So we're not even getting the full story in one go.
No,
Oh my
No,
god.
unless you want to wait another 2 years. Don't you remember what happened with All Star Batman and Robin in 2005?
No, I keep forgetting about that book on purpose, and somebody keeps reminding me.
Good. I'm good. You should.
and then he says, but somebody keeps reminding me. That's hilarious.
I can't imagine being a monthly artist. That's got to be the one of the hardest jobs out there in comics.
Not for Jorge Jimenez.
Like how long it? Because most people they're like it takes me like, you know, 2 or 3 days or something to draw. Actually, no, I think I'm underestimating it. I think it's like maybe 5 to 7 days to draw 2 to 3 pages worth of material for an average artist. So doing a book of 22 pages every month seems like a nightmare. So now I don't feel so bad about being untalented, honestly. Or artistically untalented, anyway.
I mean, it really depends on how fast you can draw and how
Uh-huh.
much detail you're putting into it,
That is true. That is definitely true.
and how many panels.
Mm.
There's got to
Well,
be
I
varying
think
levels of
the
difficulty.
number of panels is relative to how many panels are specified in the script.
Mhm.
So if you have a really abusive writer who's like, "Oh, we're gonna do 16 panels this page,"
Yeah.
you better be prepared to draw that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder if artists hated writing or working for Tom King
Huh?
Supposedly,
with
no.
his nine-panel layout.
Supposedly the opposite. That's why I was shocked. I couldn't believe it, but apparently, I think it was Amanda Connor who said it or something, and she was like, "No, I was really excited to work with Tom King because he gives me a lot of artistic leeway," which I can totally understand
That's
because
fair.
like the panel layout may be repetitive, but I saw a little bit of the because they put some back matter in Mr. Miracle for the scripts, and a lot of it is pretty open ended. So I can see why an artist would like that because it's pretty much just saying go nuts, like do whatever you
Yeah.
want. Here is the basics of what's happening in the panel. Anything else you want to add, go crazy. You know that freedom I'm sure is very nice.
That's pretty cool.
Mm.
Yeah, you gotta love when writers can do that, because then you get like a true creative combination.
Mm.
I love seeing that.
Yeah, you can always tell when an artist and a writer are like really in sync.
Yeah,
They just completely understand each other. The
like
best
Tom Taylor and
example.
Dan Moore.
I was gonna say Brian Azzarello and Eduardo Riso. That's
Oh
like,
god,
that is like S tier. I never before have I seen a writer and an artist so perfectly in sync. It's like it's almost scary. It's like they can read each other's minds.
Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo,
yeah.
Scott Snyder and Jock.
I'd say Scott Snyder and Jock more so. That was that what was it called?
Witches.
No, not witches. I can't. It'll come to me later. The new book they're doing at Distillery. Oh, you won't feel a thing. That's another book
Oh,
that's like I totally see why they love working with each other because you can tell they just like they get it. They really understand what the story needs to be.
I must read this.
Mhm.
I will.
But yes, witches is a very good example, as is Black Mirror.
How does this mic sound? Does the mic sound all right?
Yeah, Mike sounds great.
Yeah.
Right on.
Okay. Is there any other news?
Oh,
Not that I'm aware of.
nothing. Just a I don't know, cast photo from the Green Lanterns TV show. Who cares about that?
I wasn't even gonna bring that up because I'm not.
Whatever.
Well,
I didn't know if you would be disappointed or excited. I was hoping on
I'm not
excited.
like I'm neutral.
You're
So
neutral.
obviously, I would
Okay.
love to see more, but it's the very first set photo
Mm,
that we see Aaron Pierre and Kyle Chandler in like technically costumes, but there's just clothing
yeah.
as Jon Stewart and Hal Jordan. You get to see Kyle Chandler wearing a ring, but they're just walking around
Mm.
in civilian clothing, and that's
Don't
fine.
sound too excited about it.
It's like Kirk had a point, like, and I've seen the same point blasted all over the internet today.
Mm.
Is it it's not much to write home about. But I'm not trying to be too down on either because it's literally just a set photo of them in a scene where they're supposed to be in civilian clothes. My
Yeah.
question is, why would you pick that fucking photo? If you want to build engagements and build
To be
excitement,
able to say you did it without putting anything out there that's going to give anybody anything to critique.
but then
Maybe
people are
set the
critiquing this.
tone a little bit, or people get a
Yeah,
sense of what the visual tone is going to be.
yeah.
I think
Needs
that's what they're
set
trying
tone,
to do.
boys.
Yeah.
I mean, set the
Set the
tone.
tone.
Exactly.
Mhm.
That reminds me, I gotta finish watch the last episode of Shorzy. But no, that's exactly. It's a simple photo. If the ring wasn't even on his hand and people didn't tell me that this was a set photo, I would have thought it was them just like walking around on set, and not even filming. It's that kind
But
of
you can see a little
simple.
green speck
Yeah,
on Kyle Chandler's finger.
between the
That
3 pixels.
that is indicative of a thing.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
I mean,
definitely a thing.
I saw
And
somebody
I
else
tell
say,
you what, dude, I will die fighting on that hill.
yeah, that's a thing.
It's, yeah,
All
Yeah.
right,
I mean, not infinite,
100%.
I'll
obviously.
tell Isaiah you said that. Somebody else even pointed out that if you zoom in real close and look really close, you can see a ring on Aaron Pierre's hand as well. I can't fucking see it, but
No, I think they're
you can imagine it's there.
full of crap.
It's just there's not much to write home about. That's all.
I just figured I'd mention it because we had to talk about fucking Gwen Stacy coming back as Deadpool last week. So if we're gonna mention that crap, we can at least mention a absolute nothing Green Lantern TV show photo. Because I would much rather speculate about nothing
Yeah.
than whatever garbage the House of Ideas has decided to projectile vomit at us.
I think they need to stop calling themselves the House of Ideas.
No, there's still a House of Ideas. They're just not good ideas.
Fair, super fair.
Like 40% of the time, 60% there's good stuff. 40% you're gonna have
60% of the
squirts.
time, they're right all the time. Yeah, I don't know. I'm still interested in the show. I'm so excited that we're getting something,
Hmm.
but I'm just apprehensive about what it's going to be.
Right.
Because I wanted intergalactic, out in the universe, saving people, hunting things, the lantern business.
That costs money.
I know, but shit.
People would be tuning in no matter what, but instead they went with Tom King, who writes stuff that doesn't always exactly make a lot of sense and is just really expositional. And then Damon Lindelof, who often just says, you know what?
Fuck
This story doesn't need an ending.
it.
There's no reason to end the story. We can just stop it here and everybody's gonna be just fine with it. Trust me.
No, but Josh, you don't understand. That abrupt ending makes a statement. About what I
That's
don't know, but it makes a statement.
the statement is I didn't know what the fuck I was doing.
The statement was we ran out of time.
We
And
let
I didn't
the
have an ending
audience
in mind.
Make their own ending.
There you go.
Audience
It's Nutella on toast.
Whoa.
I don't get that. What's wrong with Nutella on toast?
Well, it's the picture Russell shared.
Oh, no. Yeah. That
Oh man, oh man, oh man. Anyway,
Yeah,
what were we
so-
just talking about?
Lanterns.
Nothing.
Lanterns,
Nothing.
Green Lanterns.
Oh, big fat nothing.
Big
Yeah.
old
Anyway,
nothing.
it's crazy people in it and or on it, and probably gonna be. They said it's gonna be like True Detective, so it's probably gonna be mostly Earthbound.
It's supposed to be mostly Earthbound.
I don't hate that concept, but I get the feeling that it's probably not going to have much to do with lanterns, which kind of defeats the purpose of the name.
I mean,
But if it's a good
Sinestro's
story, it's
supposed
a
to
good
be in it,
story.
which is a good sign, I think,
Hmm.
that they're not just like denying the mythos and all
Yeah,
the lore and the extended cast to just have a buddy cop detective story with two famous lanterns. They're actually like building the universe around what already exists, which
Right.
I can appreciate. We'll have to see. Like,
Yeah.
I think they've stated there's going to be a little bit of outer space
Okay.
nonsense, but for the most part, it's going to be on Earth as a
I mean,
mystery.
a grounded, as crazy as it might sound, hear me out for a second. A grounded Green Lantern story is not always the worst thing in the world.
No.
I know we love our cosmic wayfaring stories, but even just off the top of my head, I can think of something like Far Sector, which, for the most part, is a fairly grounded murder mystery story.
Yes.
So that is something
Set
that can
on
be
an alien world,
set
an
on an
explored
alien
sector
world,
with four
of
different
course.
races, one of which being a tech-based
Oh God,
species
don't remind
that
me.
exists on memes.
Those names were so I love that story, I do, but even back in 2019, I was like, these names are so cringe.
Ken
Who
has
the fuck
cheeseburger.
names an alien at? The only at that should exist is in Star Wars.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But I'm getting off topic. I hear what you're saying, yes. And obviously, yeah, it had the benefit of being set in the city enduring on an alien planet. But
Yeah.
I'm just talking like conceptually, having a story that is maybe more of a grounded mystery type of thing that still involves the kind of sci-fi tools of the Green Lanterns is not something that necessarily is a flop. Like I can see a way that could be interesting.
Yeah. We'll have to see. We'll have to see.
Yeah.
It is apparently targeted for a early 2026 release as well.
Nice.
Winter 2026. So probably February next year. We'll have to see. I'm excited still. I'm just happy to see more live action Lantern content. We're getting a lot. There's going to be an animated series next year, My Adventures with Green Lantern, featuring Jessica Cruz, which will probably, I don't know if it's they're just doing
That's
the whole
cool as hell.
My Adventures with kind of franchise, or if it's going to be
Yeah.
spinning out of My Adventures with Superman. I don't know.
I get the feeling it's definitely connected to that universe.
Yeah.
I didn't finish it, but man, it was a good show. But the comic book was better, I think.
Yeah.
Yep, 100%.
Yeah.
Comic book was really, really good.
It is good animation wise. I don't know. I I think
Animation wise, it
I
looks
think
like the
I've
cartoon.
I think I don't know. I'm too mulish to get past Superman the animated series. That's such a weird hang up, but like
I get you.
it's
'Cause
it's the
I
it's the
gave it a
same
shot
reason
too,
I
but it
didn't
wasn't
watch
for me.
Brave and the Bold and Beware the Batman because I was fiercely loyal to the Batman from 2004. I don't know. I just am that way. It's bizarre.
Yeah.
Like I have one show and I will just stick with it, and any new iteration can be damned unless it's really good.
Now, Brave and the Bold, I watched much of because it was so different from Batman, BTOS, and the Batman. Because it didn't lean into the dark aspect like Beware the Batman and all the other anime series. It was very lighthearted, goofy,
Yeah.
campy, and Diedrich Bader voicing
Yeah,
Batman
he's great.
is
Like in
fantastic.
retrospective, that show is awesome.
Yeah.
But when I was 10, I was like, this show can
It's stupid.
suck my knob.
Why do I
Can
get the
suck
feeling a 10-year-old
my
Brandon would
knob.
not say that?
I would not have said that because I would have gotten in trouble. But I would have been thinking whatever the 10-year-old
Whoops.
equivalent of that is.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
Didn't mean to laugh at you, man.
No. It was a good
Generation
joke.
just
Thank you.
suck
I needed
it.
that. I need the validation.
I mean, 10-year-old Rob was saying suck it.
I don't think I've learned that yet.
Suck my knob.
What, the D-Generation X child?
Uh,
Because every kid in the '90s knew that shit, even if you didn't watch wrestling.
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I'm in the same boat though. I gave My Adventures with Superman a shot. I watched like the first 2 episodes or so, and I kind of fell off. I'm just, I don't know, it's something's just not clicking with me. Like,
Mm.
it's not a
I think
bad
it's the
show. I think it's
animation.
good.
It just looks a little too childish.
I mean, that's the
Maybe.
part I like. I just, yeah, I felt like
Yeah.
relative to Boomer Superman the animated series. I for some reason that was my hang up. I was like, well, I
Yeah.
could watch this.
Did you just
What's
call Superman the animated series Boomer Superman?
Relative to the newer show, it might as well be. Even
Yeah.
though, yeah,
I mean,
it's
let's face it, Boomer Superman is probably more like Max Fleischer Superman. But
yeah. Actually,
I
no,
get what you're saying.
that's like Depression era. That's
Yeah.
like that's Silent Generation Superman.
Yeah.
Which, of course, Josh is very familiar with, being a child of the Depression himself. Where's my laughter? My laugh track.
We get a rim shot.
Thank you, thank you.
Josh, notably not laughing himself,
Ooh,
screaming.
there's a
on
lot
the
of
inside.
pain in that laugh.
Oh no.
Ugh.
I think I'll
Sorry.
make it.
So what that animation did kind of remind me of, the more I think about it, oddly enough, is like totally Spies and Martin Mystery.
Oh, it
Huh.
didn't. Liar.
Just where it has that like, and I could be misremembering stuff, but like those quick cuts of the characters,
Mm.
if you know what I'm talking about,
I think I do.
the quick
Yeah.
movements. Yeah, it's just, I don't know. It didn't. I don't. I'm not even against that animation. I like that animation style. It just didn't fit Superman. Maybe is what it was for
Mm.
me. Just felt
Yeah.
a,
I kind of
something just felt off about it. It just didn't sit with me. Didn't click with me.
I kind of got like, I mean, they weren't shows I was really familiar with, but obviously I'd seen pictures of them. But it kind of reminded me of, definitely. I see the Totally Spies comparison, but I was thinking like Voltron, the Legendary Defender show,
Right.
like a
Hmm.
little similar. I don't know if anyone who was a
Yeah,
part of
no,
that show
I've
was
seen it.
also involved in My Adventures with Superman, but I was like, wow, this looks just like that.
It does.
Just
I
with
never even put that together, but you're 100% right.
yeah, that
Wow.
and the She-Ra reboot. Those might have
Oh
been the
yeah.
same studio. I genuinely have no idea. Maybe that's just the particular animation style that's popular right now. But definitely Voltron was the first thing that popped to mind. Which I don't even know if that show's any good, but it seemed to
Uh,
super
Liam
popular.
binge watched it like the entire show in like 2 weeks,
Oh damn,
maybe two and a half.
that is
He
commitment.
went ape crazy on it, dude. He did. Loved it though. Every second of it. And I'm like, well, I wish
You
he'd like
must
the
have.
original Voltron more, but I'll take this.
You're like close enough.
Yep. Sure is. And they're making a live action Voltron, which is so cool.
Is this the first one? Surely this can't be the first one. I'd be
Yeah.
shocked if they never had a live action one before.
They've never had a live action Voltron movie.
Wow, that's surprising.
Yep.
So
All
get
my
this.
dreams are being realized.
That same animation studio also did The Legend of Korra,
Oh, okay.
and
Huh.
apparently the fourth season of The Boondocks.
That's
Interesting.
that would make sense because that is notoriously one of the worst seasons.
Oh really?
But that's more the writing, not so much the animation.
Yeah.
Because the animation definitely like is more fluid by that last season.
Oh, apparently. Oh, animation service. I was they did parts of Guardians of the Galaxy animated series, but it's just, yeah, tiny bits. Animation services. Apparently, they also drew X Men '97.
Nice.
That is a show I have still yet to watch. But
Same.
that and Creature Commandos. I'm so behind the curve.
Oh my God, dude, you've got to
I
watch Creature
know, I know, I
Commandos.
know, I know, I know. Don't yell at me. I know. That's when I'm disappointed that I didn't get into it while it was still going.
You let me down in Music League. You let me down here.
I'm sorry,
Meanwhile,
Dad.
I cram in every fucking issue of the Ultimates in for you.
I'm just a
I see how it
disappointment,
is.
okay? I'm just a disappointment, okay? I let everyone down.
I
I
see how it
know,
is.
I know.
I'll give, no take, or
as
I'll
as
take, no give.
as often as I would bring up Frankenstein and the various agents of shade, for me to not watch Creature Commandos feels like a cardinal sin. But I'm sorry, I was too busy not watching the show.
Kind of a different Frankenstein in a sense.
Mm.
But I don't want to ruin anything for you, but you definitely need to watch it, dude.
Yeah, I mean, well, from the trailer, it definitely makes it seem like Bride of Frankenstein is the protagonist, but obviously you would know whether or not that's actually true.
I do know, but I'm not telling you. You got to watch it. You got to watch it.
You don't have to be mean about it.
That's funny.
But yes, yeah, no, I gotta get caught up on that.
Me too.
I'm just behind on everything. Not even just media, like comics too, but that's a whole other story. There's just too much out there.
That's a never-ending story.
It's impossible to keep up with everything. There was a new season of Harley Quinn, and I was like, what are you talking about? Season 3 just came out. What do you mean season 4? How can there be a season 4?
There is. They're in Metropolis.
Crazy.
It's pretty good.
I
I'll tell
wouldn't
you,
know.
Alfred
I
takes
wouldn't
Bane
know.
Venom.
What the fuck?
That sounds about right.
And Kite Man is hilarious. I posted a couple of clips. One about Bane taking Goldilocks to the mall. Fucking hilarious.
That's wild.
That is wild.
I wish I could remember the name of the guy that voices Darkseid right now, because oh my god, he's hilarious.
Isn't it? Didn't they get Michael Ironside to do it again? I know they did that in the second season or whatever it was.
Keith David.
That was Keith David. Nice.
Who, excellent voice actor, excellent actor, one of my all-time favorites.
Yeah. He's got the voice I wish I had. I've
Yeah,
said a few times.
definitely.
Especially in Gargoyles.
I was just about to say he was
God.
he was the gargoyle.
The
I
Gargoyle.
can't remember his fucking name.
Yeah.
Dude,
I'm telling you, he's fucking
why
hilarious.
am I forgetting this too? I feel
He gets followed around by a choir, and they occasionally correct him. Oh,
Goliath.
Jesus Christ, that's
Goliath.
fucking great, man. It's so good.
yes. No, that's awesome.
He goes, just shut the fuck up.
So funny little thing about voice actors for Darkseid. We have Keith David from Kite Man, Michael Ironside in Superman animated series, Tony Todd in some original movies,
R.I.P.
and yes, R.I.P. And funny enough, in Teen Titans Go, Darkseid was voiced by Weird Al Yankovic.
It is very funny.
That's hilarious.
So funny, I can't picture it at all.
Nope.
I'll have to look that up.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious.
Because I'm just imagining nasally Weird Al Yankovic doing a Darkseid voice, and it does not fit at all.
Yeah, just that doesn't compute in my mind. All right. As for things that do compute in my mind, before we get into the books, funny enough, one thing I want to do a little addendum from last week. I got physically healthier I'm no longer sick, and I was able to actually read the New Gods and actually understand what was going on. So now my little addendum, because that book is getting a 9.25 out of 10, I'm putting it at number one of my top three from last week.
All right. Retroactively,
Yes,
It's
this
good
clip
stuff.
it is
in the previous episode.
fucking good. Yeah. God damn, that's a good book. And with that, if there's no other news to be mentioned, let's get into our books for this week. What do you say?
Sure,
Time.
let's take a brief break just real quick.
Sure thing.
And we're back.
Back in a flash.
Yeah.
That's what they said.
Who's they?
None of your damn business, Brandon.
Don't worry about it.
Don't
All
even worry about it. That was all of the covers.
right.
Oh my
What?
goodness. You just gave everything away.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
okay.
first things first, we'll talk honorable mentions. I don't know how many of these books y'all have read, but I haven't read any of them yet. But we have Metamorph for the Elephant Man. Wow, now I did it. Jesus Christ.
Third time.
See?
Time.
Haha.
Third time. Third time.
I haven't done that before. I blame Josh. Metamorpho the Element Man, number 3.
You sure?
No, I'm not sure. Metamorpho the Elephant Man, yes. It's because of the "fa" in "fo," the morpho. It just gets stuck in your tongue. God, fucking elephants. What even are they? And
Like,
giraffes.
we know?
Who
They're
said they could
elephants.
exist? But anyway, so we got Metamorpho the Element Man, number 3, Power Girl, number 18, Green Lantern Dark, number 3, Black Canary, Best of the Best, number 4, Harley Quinn, number 48, and Batman, The Long Halloween, The Last Halloween, number 5 are your honorable mentions this week. I'm sure they're all good.
Of the
Yep, sure they are.
4 that I read, they were all pretty good. So
Good.
All right. That about sums up the honorable mentions.
Yeah. All right, so now that we will get into our main books for the week, starting off with The Flash, number 18, brought to us by Josh Allen.
By the me.
and me.
By the me. All right.
Josh Allen, Brandon West, Rob Mercury.
Yay, I get to be Wally.
Just make me Barry because at least he didn't call me Garrick.
I was just
All right, The Flash number 18.
because for
thought he
doing
was
the
gonna do it.
ages, you'd have to be Derek and I'd have to be Alan.
I don't know. All right, Flash number 18, written by Simon Spurrier with art from Vasco Georgiev and colors from Matt Herms, and lettering from Hassan Asmani El Hao, and a cover from Mike Del Mundo.
Which
Flashback and catch-up time.
My brain.
Before the events of this story, Eclipso fought Darkseid, almost won, save for a cheap trick, and he ended up trapped in some apocalyptian machinery, which he later stole after making his way free and after Darkseid died. He removes anger, releases it into Skitaris, where the warriors fight to catch his attention. That way he never has to stop. He has an endless supply of happy. It seems that's not enough, though. He needs somewhere to store the energy of hatred, a vessel that can channel cosmic energy so that it can be held and not discharged, and Eclipso has plans to make that Wally. Meanwhile, Jai sends the dog to his dad. This is so crazy. Wally's final evolution isn't even fully laid out yet. That's something I'm going to need to have happen soon. What are the full extent of his powers? This can't be something where every arc he develops a new one that will get old and out of hand real quick. And I think this issue lays out everything that's going on, hopefully explains it sufficiently to everybody else what's going on. Art and colors, I really like it, and this new approach from Eclipso is pretty cool. I dig it all together. 8 out of 10.
I am still trying to collect all
I
my
hate this.
thoughts for this book.
I can go quickly if you
Fair enough.
want. I don't have
Go
too much
for
to
it.
say. 7.5 out of 10. I'll just give my score straight up. I thought this was going to be a West family vacation kind of, let's take it easy, let's have a breezy time kind of story. It's not that, and it has ceased being that like 2 issues ago. And honestly, rereading like the past 2 issues, I feel like I was leading myself on. But this issue was really like the whole info dump from Eclipso was like, okay, all right, so we're doing this again, which I don't like. Okay, let me just be clear, because I feel like when I say this, I don't know, I'm being like anti-intellectual, or I don't appreciate a story that has greater depth than the West's go on a fun vacation. But there's a difference between having a story that is complex and having a story that is convoluted. I'll give you one guess as to which kind this story is. Newsflash, it's not the
Complex.
first one, because like I'm going through everything that Eclipso is saying, and it's the epitome of when you're reading something for like a class and you read it 5 times and it doesn't make any fucking sense, and I'm like, am I dumb? Have I lost the plot, or does it just not make any sense? Because trying to keep track of what Eclipso's plan is, like with venting off anger and this whole device that siphons off raw energy and repurposes matter. Like, I'm just like, what are we trying to, no, literally, what are you trying to do? I don't know. I don't understand it at all.
Yeah.
And I can't help but feel that this whole Wally kind of being blissed out and detached from everything is not a rehash from his previous experience in the last arc, where he was in that lowest plane of the Speed Force, where basically he just had completely forgotten everything and was also equally blissed out and had no connections to everything. And I feel like there is a little bit of difference there, but to just reuse that same idea, I guess it has the advantage of Wally being in 2 different places. But I'm just like, can we have a story where Wally, the superhero, has a little more agency and does things with a forward momentum like a Flash? I would appreciate that, because I feel like a lot of it just is things happening to Wally, and then eventually he's so far back into a corner, he, I don't know, it just like explodes out of him, and then finally he can react, but it's only after 6 issues. So I gotta be honest, like, as much as I was enjoying the start of this arc and the direction it was going, this issue really felt like it lost me, which I'm sure is surprising because I gave this a 7.5, but I'm ripping it a new asshole. Um, I don't hate it. I just I, I'm I'm disappointed. I'm a disappointed dad, even though the book was already kind of disappointing. But I'm disappointed because it looked like things were looking up, and now they're not. And now it's kind of like, okay, I guess we're back on this train again, which is unfortunate. So 7.5 out of 10. I guess the most positive thing I can say is the art is really nice, and I do actually enjoy the character moments with Jai. That is probably the strongest component of this book, in that it feels like he actually is going through a significant character arc. First rejecting being a superhero, and now kind of being like, I don't even really know what I want to be. So I like that there is a continuity there, but what the fuck is going on with Eclipso? I don't know. Maybe someone who's smarter than me, which is not a hard feat, can make sense of it, because I can't.
Okay, I will sum up my
Oh,
review of this book in a quote from Eclipso in this issue, where he says, "Ha! Still trying to learn my master plan, Wally? It's fine. I have no secrets from you. Trust me, you're never going back to heroing, pal."
Yeah.
I just you basically, when I said I was trying to collect my thoughts, you said what my thoughts were trying to collect into. Like, that's, I don't hate it. I just don't get it
Yeah.
either. It's not what I'm looking for in the Flash. It's not what we thought we were getting in the beginning of this story arc, especially when when Seisberger had Irie say, I thought we were done with this, whatever crap or
Mm.
something. What I can't remember exactly what she said, and then by the end of that issue,
Timey
we
wimey
get right
bullshit.
back into
Yeah.
it, and it just amplifies from there. It's getting right up, turned to 11. It's 18 issues, and I don't think the Flash has really had to use super speed to solve a problem once.
Barely. Maybe at the end of the arc, but for a book called The Flash, which features a character predominantly known for running, don't really get to see him do that. He just kind of stands around confused while
Yeah,
He
people
doesn't
throw
have any
science
powers right now.
science
well, one
junk
of them
at
doesn't.
him. Yeah.
One of the Flashes does. The other Wally does. The one that's on Earth with like Nightwing and Doctor Occult, etc. He's got the super speech. The one in Scarteris does not.
Yeah.
Right, the one on Earth was using it.
Yeah, but he's also just raging around.
He's filled up with all that anger that's being
Yeah,
pushed
that's
through.
being pushed out by
by the
Eclipso, and it's
by
all
the
his
whatever
rage
machine.
and all sorts of rage from all sorts of other people. Eclipso's master plan is, I'm going to take all this emotion and do something with it.
He's
I'm gonna,
taken all
I'm
the
gonna,
rage.
I'm gonna vent it
Okay,
off like it's bad garbage.
what he vents it into Skartaris to keep everybody fighting. He takes that rage and he harnesses much more of it than he vents out. He needs some place to store that rage so that he has an unlimited supply to make to give himself happiness
Is
and the
there
few
a
people that he chooses to allow that to happen.
is there a more simplified way of expressing that? Is there a for dummies version that I can read? Because that's what I need. I need the Flash for dummies right now.
Like that is a very simple way to explain
Yeah.
what took Eclipso 22 fucking pages.
He's long-winded, he's a villain, and he's always monologue.
There's like a quote where I gotta
there's
find it.
monologue
Like
and
a
there's excessive exposition.
yeah. Or just convoluted exposition.
Says
You can
says says
exposit.
fans of Tom King.
You can well that's my point. It's like you can just have straight up exposition. It's very straightforward and cut and dried that achieves the purpose of giving information. And then you can have stuff that makes no fucking sense. Or
But it
you
does
have to,
make
like,
sense.
You have
It's
to
a
like
word
I
count.
don't know, wrap your brain around it or something.
Yeah. And that is the Tom King writing I don't enjoy.
Yeah.
Is the excessive word count.
That's
and
all of it.
The
I
added
mean, no one likes
dialogue.
exposition, but the worst kind is the stuff that you can't even understand.
I don't mind exposition when it's actually explaining something in a concise manner.
Mm.
But when it's explaining something and then you need exposition on top of that exposition, it's not really.
I need exposition for the exposition
Yeah.
because I don't understand it. It would
I
be
mean,
one thing if it
let me
was,
try
if
it again.
was trying to. It would be one thing because I know I'm sure I sound hypocritical in that there are loads of stories by Grant Morrison and Jonathan Hickman and writers of that style that certainly leave a lot open to interpretation or it's not explicitly stated. But this is the opposite effect where it is being explicitly stated, but it's so wrapped in confusing dialogue that I can't really make heads or tails of what the objective is. I think
Yeah.
that's the frustrating.
Eclipso wants to be happy. He's not gonna be happy because the only way for him to be happy was to kill Darkseid.
I need to.
Now there's nothing that's gonna ever make him happy. So he found that he could use these machines to make himself happy, but he has to do so by processing the rage through it. He collects all of that massive amount of rage from the people fighting all the time in Skartaris. He keeps them fighting by venting a little bit of that rage, but he has to have someplace else to store the rage. So he's storing it in the Flash. Meanwhile, since that Flash is the copy, he's just passing that rage along to regular Wally on Earth, which is why he's raging on.
Well, in the future, I would appreciate annotated versions of this story that you can give to us so we can understand it, so we don't have to read
Yeah.
the book.
Because I'll be honest, I
All
didn't
right,
get
so the
any of
Flash
that in this
Cliff
issue.
Notes.
Yeah.
I know he fought
Yes.
Darkseid, and then he ended up on Scartaris because somehow his body
Yeah.
split into two, and part of him ended up in Scartaris, and another part is still on the moon for some reason.
Yeah. Like if
And
this
then
were a
these
class,
machines are splitting his emotions. That's all I
Yeah.
could fucking understand. I didn't get that whole thing with like him being happy from fighting Darkseid. He needs that again, and then
I mean,
Darkseid's
I
dead.
I
So he
kind
needs
of
the
got that
happiness.
in the sense that after his fight with Darkseid, it like fractured a part of him, so there was one that was more like he became away from it not being whole, and that's why his whole personality was different or something to that effect. I don't know. I give up. I'm gonna go read something simple like
Like
Flex Mentallo. And then
Oh boy.
when my brain doesn't understand that, I'm gonna read Jeremy Adams' Flash again
yeah,
and just come back down to earth.
I need a palate cleanser. I'm gonna go read Homer's
Palate
The
cleanser.
Odyssey.
And then Tim Sheridan's Earth 3.
Yeah, no.
Wow,
I'll need
that's
a
just
palate cleanser for
That way you
wasting
read Tim
time.
Sheridan's Earth 3 and then you remember what good comics are.
It's
Which
not
are pretty
this,
much
but
anything
yeah.
other than that.
That's like a 1-2 punch of comics that I
One,
don't
two,
really
or three shit.
what one comics I don't really understand, and I kind of don't have any urge to understand.
Yeah.
Feel ya.
It's just, I don't know. 18 issues of confusing plot devices is a lot. At least Tom King sticks to 12.
Yeah, once it's 12, it's over.
Yeah. You know it's done after that. There's no end in sight. And the
He
worst
says,
part is, I don't even hate Cy Spurrier as a writer. I have actually enjoyed Cy Spurrier writing in the past.
yeah,
I'm just not connecting with his Flash run. It's not what I've ever looked for in the Flash.
You know, some people would say that's a you problem.
I know that's a me problem. That's
uh,
why it's my opinion.
that
I
was funny.
just like, yeah, I don't even know what to score it because I like the art. There's definitely a story here, and I don't hate the story. I just think it's very, like Brandon said, convoluted, a little messy, and needlessly complicated. But I like the dog.
I do like the
I
dog.
really like the
I
dog.
like the Speed Force baby dog.
Yes.
Don't even think too deep about that.
No.
Like they just have a dog that
That's
is a
you
child
know
of
it's
the
a
Speed
complicated
Force.
story when that's
The
the
end.
simplest part of it.
Yeah,
There's this
the
dog
end.
that's the embodiment of the Speed Force and lives with the Flash family. That's
Yes, that's it.
that's
Let's keep it there. You don't need to
you
dig
don't
any
need
deeper.
anything else.
Yeah, we'll simplify it for you because if
Yeah.
you want
But
to
he knows,
understand,
the dog knows the future too. Like he knows what Jai's gonna grow up and be.
Josh,
no,
don't
simplify
complicate
it.
it.
Simplify it.
I didn't complicate
Just
it. There's just
leave
more
it.
cool shit
Leave
to
it.
it.
The dog is the embodiment of the Speed Force, and he lives with the West
Yes.
family. That's all we need.
Narf.
I don't
Honestly,
need to know,
I
like,
would prefer
future
that.
sight knows what Jay's gonna do. I don't even
Yeah.
want
Snarf.
the Jay we have. Why is he so down on him? Like, how old is Jay in this? Is he
He's supposed
12?
to be like 10, 11.
I feel
I
like
don't
that's
even
a
know.
little early for an
Yeah.
existential crisis from puberty. You know,
He's
just
been
just a
through a lot,
couple
and
years.
he's
I mean,
got the ability
yeah.
to shape reality.
Well, that's the
That's
stuff
a
I
lot of
don't.
weight to carry.
That's the stuff I don't really like because they're turning him into Franklin Richards.
I was gonna
which
say
I'm
Franklin
like,
Richards
yeah.
had that ability too, and he
when
just
it was just
reformed
Jai with
reality
his
and didn't mess with his mind.
when it was just Jai with his like loose Speed Force connection powers, and then he had the Surge in Jeremy Adams Flash. It was like, okay, cool, right? Something
Yeah.
that differentiates him, but still, keeps him having that connection to the Speed Force. But now it's like he can fucking leave golems behind that are tethers to different parts of reality, and he can reshape reality. And I'm like, what is this? Even Franklin Richards never got that complicated. And he
Yeah.
built universes in his closet.
Yeah, that's simple.
That and it's like that sentence should break your mind.
Yeah.
But I could understand that more than I could understand the full extent of Jai's apparently
Yeah.
ever developing power set.
He had a pocket universe in the back of his closet behind a baseball glove. And that's simpler than what's going on
And
with
that's
Jai Woods.
simple. that's
I've
that's
seen a
simple.
pocket universe
Oh, shit.
kept inside of a little charm on a cat's necklace.
I was just gonna when you said pocket universe, I was thinking Men in Black.
Yes.
Yeah, it's on Orion's belt.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's
Not
that's gonna
unusual.
be that's gonna
This
be a
has precedent.
new game for us. Plots that are simpler than Cy Spurrier's Flash.
Oh, for Christ's sake.
That's probably gonna be very easy because there's like millions.
The Matrix.
Jesus.
The Odyssey.
What's in the box?
The Odyssey, he says. All right, you guys ready to move on? Shine a little light on something
I'll
else.
give it a 7.
Ah, yes.
Yes. Shit, is it that time already? Fuck, I'm not ready. I was too busy with the Flash open. Oh god. Okay. Whew.
This one's, I mean, it can be ran through pretty quick.
Yeah, I wasn't ready. I gotta pull up the credits page. Bear
Oh,
with me a
right.
second.
Well, it is Green Lantern,
Yes.
number 20.
20. And this is written by Jeremy Adams with art from Jack Herbert, colors from Romulo Fajardo Jr., and letters from Dave Sharp, with the cover from Ariel Colon, which is a very cool cover.
Oh, yeah, it is.
John looks a little nervous.
I was gonna say old, but
Old, that too,
it's
yeah.
a little wrinkly.
Yeah. Those
I think
really
it's just
interesting.
the
Even on his neck, he got some old man lines, old man
got, like,
wrinkles on his neck.
he's almost got like jowls.
Though now that you've
Yep.
zoomed in, like looking at the color differences is so cool. Like with the lantern, the green energy flowing over, it's just pencils.
What?
Whoops.
What?
Damn it.
Yeah, that's
And
pretty
then
cool.
everything else is like full painted. Like that's
Yeah.
really fucking cool.
I gotta wonder what paint this artist is using because the
Yeah.
difference between the light green of the constructs and,
You
like
ready?
you said, the rest of the costumes is I don't even know how you achieve that effect.
You move up to Jessica for a second, because the lighting on Jessica's legs there is wild.
Yeah.
Holy crap! The hair, the bottom of the hair.
The
Holy shit!
the whole damn suit, dude.
Yeah.
This is amazing. I mean, yeah, look at how Jordan's hair.
Jesus. Yeah, like you can't really get a good sense of it just looking at it.
Why are
Look at
you doing that?
I don't know, Josh.
Whoa.
Why are you doing it? Like, go over to Guy for a second. He's got a baseball bat. Okay.
Oh my God.
This is the
Every
last thing
time.
I'll ask. That
Yeah.
is insane. Holy
Yeah.
shit. That is really cool.
Indeed,
The
it
zooming in on
is.
it's perfect. I never did that before. That is brilliant. I really like that. All right, so we open up on a before flashback to a man called Erastus, who is a blacksmith on the planet Altion X. He's asked to make a sword, and upon construction and delivery to a man called the boss, the boss refuses to pay because he claims since he's the boss, one of his duties is to gather taxes. Instead of actually paying him, he'll just forgive the taxes for this year from Erastus. Erastus, disheveled, heads
Whoops.
home to his girlfriend,
Excuse
who
me.
is getting all dressed up and makeup on and whatnot, saying, "I didn't expect you home so soon. I'm going out. Maybe I'll even find a better fate partner than Erastus the blacksmith," and slams the door in his face. And then Erastus, even more sad, goes out into the world later on, walking around trying to collect his thoughts, gets mugged by a couple of goons, stuff is stolen. his hammer that he uses in his blacksmith shop, his workshop, falls to the ground. He goes to pick it up, and as he stands up, he sees his girlfriend with a much taller, bulkier, and they're weirdly shaped aliens. I could arguably say handsomer. I don't know, but we'll go with that. Man, um, and his girlfriend kind of just brushes him off and says, "Oh, he's no one. He's maybe my fate partner, but maybe not right now. I'll return home eventually, Erastus." Blah blah blah. And that is when Erastus gets a little too pissed off and starts manifesting Red Lantern energy, which even gets put into his hammer, which gathers Red Lantern energy itself as like a kind of like the ring in a way. And then we flash forward to now where Hal Jordan is fighting Erastus, and we find out that Erastus is the being that manifests the Red Lantern energy that we saw at the end of last issue that ended up killing all sorts of people on this planet. Hal is taking the fight straight to Erastus's face, but is not going so well. So Hal retreats and regroups to try and figure out a new way to combat Erastus. Heads into a little room to hide and form a plan, but finds even more dead bodies and realizes that Erastus has just gone way too far. Um, and in this room is actually none other than the boss that Erastus made the sword for at the beginning of our issue, along with a note in the alien language of that planet that Hal had translated that reads, "Payment due, Erastus the blacksmith." So now he knows who this man is. Yada yada. We then, meanwhile, jump over to the source wall where Kyle, Connor, and don't remember her name. Odyssey.
Odyssey.
Yeah, Odyssey.
Yes, Odyssey.
The Time Bandit.
The Time Bandit. What a freaking
Yes.
character. Are outside the source wall waiting for Hal, but then Connor and Odyssey kind of goad Kyle into maybe just bulking up a pair and getting into it himself. They need to retrieve an item of grave importance. They go into the mouth of a being in the source wall as they find that this being on the source wall is not actually part of the source wall, but actually a construction, more of a building, a statue, if you will. So they go in, and Kyle goes full Indiana Jones as he says, "We're raiding the Promethean Temple." Even got a little indie fedora on and a whip, as Connor just calls him a nerd, and off they go. Odyssey, being the Time Bandit, knows her way around some temples and using, excuse me, some Z-ray dust. That's right, I said Zed. I saw that grimace.
I'm
Brandon.
going to die. You're going to kill me.
If it
That's
means
what's
anything,
gonna have
when
to
I was
happen.
reading this issue earlier, in my mind it did say Z-ray.
Okay.
But that's
so
mostly because of Futurama.
at least you are starting to change.
I'm not changing.
Please.
I am not.
Please.
But anyway,
Ah.
this Z-ray dust reveals the traps and map, basically layout of the entire oh my god, what do they call it? Temple. Excuse me. So now they know their way around and know what to look out for. Connor just asks one question: if there's anything kryptonite based in the booby traps. Odyssey says no, so he says, "Hold my jacket," and he goes and walks through every single booby trap, unleashing them all, and they don't hurt him, but now they're all broken. So they all go straight to the end of the temple. It's like cheat code. I love it. Meanwhile, Hal is getting back into the fight against Erastus, but Erastus gets the upper hand on him yet again. His rage is just untethered. They're starting to break through Hal's constructs. Hal is starting to even have a fault in his own will, but that rage in Erastus is just getting way too powerful to the point that it implodes and Erastus ends up dying. And that is when Hal, with a somber heart at the time, heads off planet back to regroup with his comrades. Now at the end of the temple, at the source wall, Connor, Kyle, and Odyssey find their prize, which is New Genesis based. Um, Connor comes up with the idea that since there might be more booby traps here, I'll super speed over, grab it, and then I'll push you two out in a construct of Kyle's creation. Deal? Okay, let's go. And as that happens, Kyle makes a minecart um, because apparently there were rails there. I don't know where they came from, but still pretty cool. And off they go. Connor flies them out of super speed as the oh my god, the temple begins to crumble around them. They make it out just in time as an explosion erupts behind them. They head back to their ship, but not before they are found by Starbreaker and Sorrow, who are now asking for the orb of Source and thanking them for having saved them so much work. All right, so nice, brief little issue. This was called The Life and Death of Erastus the Blacksmith. Erastus was a very tragic story. Um, Not how I thought that was going to end. That's what I've come to appreciate from Jeremy Adams. Things don't really go the way I think they will, and I like that. Um, Also, really hitting home the dangers of what this fractured spectrum can accomplish.
Yep.
It's not as simple
Especially,
as people manifest lantern energy, emotional spectrum energy, and they just have superpowers. Like, unchecked, these things go insane.
yeah,
Yeah, they're gonna
especially
have to
for
find a way to detect and rein in these
yeah.
outbursts.
Yeah,
But I
'cause-
think especially for the people who don't have that sense of willpower, like Hal said, that they can't control it or overcome it. It just
exactly.
completely dominates them.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
Erastus will not
And
be the last
slowly.
one.
Oh hell no.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like
So
it's
who only
what
knows?
Hal said as
Yeah.
well when and as you mentioned it, I was going to bring it up. He said like Sinestro and Kyle went through this manifesting different color energies, but they had the willpower to keep it in check. How do you
Yeah.
teach someone willpower on the fly when they're exhibiting such rage?
What even is willpower? To
You
quote
know?
Tom King from Hero Crisis.
Yeah. What even is a willpower?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
And he's writing Green Lantern. I just want to remind you that he's a head writer on the show. I'm just anyway.
yes.
So the Lanterns got all of these emotional outbursts that they're dealing with. Now Superboy and Kyle have to worry about Odyssey while trying to fight off Starbreaker and Sorrow. Ah, I fucking love this book so much,
Yeah.
dude.
I have a feeling Odyssey's not something they have to worry about because Starbreaker and Sorrow are going to be enough. Like Odyssey might try to steal the orb too, but where's she going to go from there?
I just meant that they got to worry about her, like as far as making sure she don't like end up dead.
Oh, I see what you mean. Like keep her safe.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, that's true. That's very
yeah.
true. Though it would be a bit of a twist if she did double cross them and steal the Source Orb, because she'll find some way to hawk it. But then that's when Kyle calls in Gold Beetle, and we get our wish. Gold Beetle
Gold Beetle
returns.
returns.
The breakout star from 2 years ago.
Hell yeah.
Great fucking
That'd be
character.
cool.
That would be really cool.
I have a feeling that Gold Beetle very well could play a big part in the Marvel DC crossover.
That would be dope.
I would be shocked if that happened, but that would be really cool.
Yeah, I'd be all for that. So yeah, the whole Indiana Jones Temple adventure plot, that was a lot of fun. It was really cool to see. I appreciate that we're past the Hal Jordan centric part of this book, and like, yeah, Hal Jordan is still a central figure, but now it's with the reignition of the core, if you will. Um, we're getting a bit more of different lanterns involved. Like we have a whole Kyle centric plot now, and I'm all for that. That's what I've been saying for years. Like, yeah, we have Green Lantern Corps, but just because a book is called Green Lantern doesn't mean it has to focus on just one. Just because a book is called The Flash doesn't mean it has to focus only on Wally or Barry, right? Um, spread the love a little bit, and I'm all for that. Have even if like how Jeremy Adams is doing it right now, you have one plot with Hal and one plot with Kyle going at the same time, and they will converge eventually. But for the time being, they're doing two different things at the same time, getting both stories. It's really cool. The art is fantastic throughout. I really love this fucking cover. Us zooming in on it was the best choice we ever made. It showed us so much more. This is going to get an 8.75 out of 10 for me.
Yeah, I gave it the same. The cover is great. The art and colors are fantastic, and the story I think is super cool. I'm so damn invested in this series like never before with Green Lantern.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, 8.25 for me. Uh, art in this issue is little wonky, with at least with some of the characters. I didn't love the proportions, especially Connor, who was like built like a damn house, and so I was shocked. I mean, I know Connor is usually like, being a Superman clone. He's not small necessarily, but he looked like that was not Superboy. That was Superman. But no, aside from that, like the actual self-contained ish story of Erastus and the explosion of rage, I thought was pretty cool. And I hope that they can continue to do stories like that that just show the damage of having a fractured spectrum, throughout the cosmos, just so that Hal can get a greater sense of what's actually going on and hopefully find some way to combat it. And of course, it's always nice seeing Kyle, my least favorite Lantern. So yeah, 8.25 out of 10 for me. I
Right.
just said that to rile you up, and I got what I wanted because I saw your face.
Yep, definitely took a cheap shot. Here's Green Arrow.
Green Arrow. Hopefully, this one will.
That was a cheap transition.
Yeah. Hopefully, this one will have a more clever joke. I don't know. Green Arrow number 21, written by Chris Condon, with art from Montos, colors by Adriano Lucas, and letters from Hassan Otsmain El How. Again, we have a flashback to what we now have established as being the past days of the freshwater community, specifically a hearing that is kind of about the damages of the toxic chemicals in the freshwater community, and really firmly establishing just how hazardous it's been to the inhabitants of the freshwater community. But we cut back to the present, before we see more of that. And after a brief struggle with the new freshwater killer, Ollie finally gets the full story regarding the truth of the freshwater killer, or in this case, killers, as well as Ollie's own involvement in the poisoning of the freshwater community that we saw during the flashback, having been the president of Horton Chemicals at that time. And if anyone's curious about that connection, you can check out the Green Arrow 1983 miniseries for when Ollie was actually president of Horton Chemicals. They don't mention this specific freshwater plot. At the same time, Detective Benitez, still rattled from her confrontation with Green Arrow back at the police station, decides to look deeper into the history of the freshwater neighborhood after hearing that the another Horton Chemicals executive has been found dead, courtesy of the freshwater killer. So as Benitez is getting ready to, or not getting ready, but heading up to Freshwater, we see that the seemingly empty town is now filled with several individuals, all dressed in, you guessed it, freshwater killer masks. So there's a whole network of them out there getting ready to strike. Part 4 of Freshwater Kills is just as good as Part 1 of Freshwater Kills, which may not sound like a ringing endorsement, but for as good as the first issue was, the fact that it is not dipped in quality at all is remarkable. But I had faith in Chris Condon that he would deliver an excellent noir mystery story, and this arc has continued to be that. So I'm really just like along for the ride. Like, I don't know. I feel like I don't have all that much to analyze about it. It is a very straightforward mystery, but it's written so well, with such great character moments that like it really just speaks for itself. So easy 8.75 out of 10 for me. Art is phenomenal by Montos and just captures like the sinister vibes as well as the more heartfelt moments as well. So just like this, I had high expectations for this book, and it's so nice when it actually turns out to be true. It's not a disappointment. So very excited.
Once again, I 100% agree with everything. The story is really good, really kind of deep, and having the throwbacks to previous runs from decades ago is I always like seeing stuff like that. It's really cool and really lends to the shared universe prospect of things. Um, the villain, at least villains, if you will, it's really interesting stuff as well. That it's Ollie basically fighting against the things he fights for. It's very interesting, um, and almost lends an idea of how's he going to get out of this one kind of deal. Like how do you fight against the things that you fight with or fight for? It's a brilliant little strategy for Green Arrow, and the art. You know, I'm a lover of Montos. It's so freaking good. Um, and this book is no different. The cover as well, beautiful. Love this cover. This is also getting an 8.75 for me.
Hell yes.
And I think Josh has disappeared.
Josh has vanished. We'll never know how he feels about Green Arrow.
Ah, I'm right
Until
here.
we will.
Boogly
Oh,
boo.
he's right there.
Yeah. So Green Arrow. I'm not really sure to say about this one that isn't blatantly obvious. Montos is one to beat in the art game. The cover is great and a gritty story about Ollie taking on billionaires, but this time he's being tied to it. It's a cool story and a great idea. I'll definitely keep reading. It gets an 8.25.
Right on.
Absolutely. There is no mystery as to why I like that. And let's see about this next one here. Written by Tom Taylor with art, colors, and cover from Miko Yanin and lettering from Wes Abbott. It is Detective Comics number 1094 with still no clues as to who Asima is. Bruce sends Damien undercover to the juvenile facility to find out what's going on. Meanwhile, he meets with the warden as a potential investor and finds out enough to know that he hates the man. Damien is placed into prison, but after he sees a 10-year-old about to be beaten by a guard, he steps in, which leads to him taking the mess hall in a riot. He eventually surrenders on the promise that only he gets punished. The punishment is apparently having a vial of blood drawn, to which they assume is being used as part of the miracle drug that Bruce used. Bruce removes Damien from the prison, and they get home to find an envelope on the gate addressed as The Truth You Need to Know from Asima. The plot thickens, the art is dynamic, and I really love what's going on in here. It's a really, really interesting mystery, and I like this a lot. I'm giving it an 8.5 out of 10. Good
Oh,
stuff.
Brandon is gone. Yes. So this mystery getting deeper and deeper. I like it a lot. I was expecting a bit more of a reveal as to the connections between Asima and I don't remember her name off the top of my head, but the girl that Bruce has been seeing,
Oh,
um,
Scarlet. Scarlet.
Scarlet. Yeah, I was
That's
expecting to
it.
see like some of the potential connections between the two in this issue,
Mm.
but we're getting a bit more of the mystery, and I really like that. Um, I also love seeing, and I've never really thought about it before how much I love it, but I love seeing Batman and Bullock interact. It's for some reason it's always just like oddly like comforting, if not fun. Like you always picture Batman and Gordon and Bullock just kind of in the background, but when it's just Bullock and Batman, they're like Bullock is just like accepting of him, like a
Yeah.
like a friend of a friend. He's like an acquaintance who like no, we can trust him.
Mhm.
I know this guy. Yeah, like
I feel
it's
like it's always weird to me because I'm so used to seeing Bullock at odds with Batman and BTOS
exactly
that like
yeah.
to see him they're just like casual, like yeah, just keep him watch, like it's all good.
Yeah, that's probably exactly what it is for me too. Like seeing that change and seeing them in the comics being, like you said, casual to each other is kind of nice.
Mhm.
I like it. I never liked that Bullock was so against Batman and beat-offs. I never liked that. It made me hate Bullock for many years. um,
Oof.
but no, the story is getting really good. It's getting better with each issue. I hope Taylor is able to keep this pacing and intrigue up as his run progresses and doesn't just like push it all on the first story arc. Um, we're getting really close to number 1100, which I imagine will be a very big issue, and I wonder if this story arc is going to lead into that number. If there's going to be some big plot twist reveal about Batman's past or something, I don't know. But we'll have to see. That's another 6 issues away. But for now, I'm enjoying this. I'm enjoying the run. I'm enjoying the story. It's really good mystery, and I'm really happy it's Detective Comics because it's an actual detective story. Um, it's the only mystery to me now is what I'm going to score it. I think it's going to get a 9 out of 10. Um,
Hell yeah.
the whole thing with Damien in the prison was just like chef's kiss. It was perfect.
Mhm.
Going undercover and just day one start a riot, protect kids,
Yeah.
beat the shit out of some guards.
And
Yeah,
Bruce being like,
it's perfect.
no, yeah,
No.
you're good.
You did the right
You
thing.
did the right thing.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Also, I'm not letting you stay here.
No.
That was definitely my favorite bit at the end. He's like, if you think I would ever let my son stay here for more than one night, you're crazy.
Yeah. We got
Oh.
enough info.
Oh,
Also,
But
his whole thing with
being
the
such a
warden.
good dad, I am okay with one night.
one night's fine.
Yeah.
You
One night
probably had
is
it coming.
fine.
You probably
You're
had it
like
coming.
15, let's send you to prison.
Yeah. So one thing I need you to do for me, Damien. Go to jail.
Go to jail.
Just one.
Yeah,
You
it's just
rolled
one night.
three
It's fine.
doubles, go directly to jail.
But
That whole bit with the warden, I love that too, where he's like, I do make this trip look like an accident, catch him, and just like whack his head into the table. Yeah. It's like how you describe it doesn't sound very graceful,
No.
but for some reason, I have no doubt Batman can make it work.
There's also another part where like he's talking to him, or the warden's talking to him, and one of the captions just like, "I hate this man," like just
Yeah.
flat out.
Yeah, not even hiding it.
Yeah. I despise you. You are a horrible person.
Yeah.
Yeah. 8.75 for me. If I don't think I gave my score yet. I also kind of agree with pretty much everything you said. This definitely is probably one of the strongest issues so far, and I'm a sucker for whenever Bruce or Damien or one of the Bat family gets to go undercover. So seeing Damien do that here, while sticking very close to his morals and not letting people just punish the prisoners was pretty cool. So yeah, no, very solid issue, and also looking forward to where the mystery of Asima potentially will lead. But this one definitely felt like maybe a little more of a Damien centric issue, which is always nice, and gave us some pretty great character moments, which I appreciated. So, and the art from Mikhail Henny, the coloring in particular, just been off the chain the past few issues, but really just top form in this issue as well. So 8.75 out of 10.
Right. And I think with that super review, that leads us, yeah, directly to our last book. Not last
Whoa.
book, sorry. Next book.
We're close.
Superman number 23. This is Legacy number 866. We're getting up there too. Hell yeah. All right, so where we left off last issue. Wait. Oh, I'm forgetting the credits recently. Holy shit. I keep forgetting the fucking credits. All right, so this is written by Joshua Williamson with art and cover from Dan Mora, colors from Alejandro Sanchez, and letters from Ariana Maher. All right, so now picking up where we left off last issue, the Time Trapper has Lois as Superwoman trapped in time, oddly enough, and is giving her the same bargain she gave to Superman. Help him, and I will save people. If you do not, then your fate is what's going to happen, and your fate is not good. She, being Superman's wife, Lois Lane, truth seeker and protector, just says, nah, fuck you. And punches him directly in the face. He says, all right, fine, have it your way. Let's see if you can save Jimmy in time, because I'm not going to grant you the same mercy I grant Superman, where I gave him a few extra seconds. So he unfreezes time. The blast is pretty much in Jimmy's face. Lois flies as fast as she can to him, gets in the way just enough, but Jimmy is still pretty badly injured. Clark, meanwhile, is still having his own little rage out. Which, by the way, this whole rage out thing with red energy going on in Superman, has that been explained yet in this run, or could this potentially be a whole Red Lantern thing? Josh, you're muted. Sorry, I wasn't sure if you were actually talking.
If I remember correctly, it was um, when Superman was injected with the red kryptonite, but I don't remember which issue that was. It was that Doctor Farm and Graft plot. Sorry, I didn't mean to steal your thunder, Josh. I don't know if you're getting ready to say that.
I think he's having a microphone issue now. He's still muted.
Oh, hello.
Okay, fair enough. I don't. Oh, okay, yeah, I kind of remember that was a while back.
Yeah, because I remember them mentioning
Okay,
the
there we
red
go.
kryptonite in a
Now.
previous issue, like recently.
Okay, good deal.
Right. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, that was like what, issue 5? That was a while back. I don't know if I can
Yeah,
remember.
maybe
that.
a little later than I can
Yeah.
remember, but
All right. Well, that's happening. He's having a little rage episode. He
Arr.
visioning everything in his sight. But he is Superman and he knows better, so he's trying to get his anger under control. But at that point, um, fucking what? Oh, Radiance is going after Doomsday because Superman is kind of at odds with himself for the time being. Uh, and that's when Superman sees Time Trapper off in the distance, so he flies up to him, punches him in the face multiple times, and Time Trapper just says, "Yes, give me your rage." All very Count Dooku or fucking Darth Sidious of him. Um, Lena, meanwhile, is trying to find her father, uh, who has a plan, and he almost has a way to put a stop to all of it, but he needs one thing. He needs Luna to help him find a suit. And that suit is not what you think it is, but it is a bit of a battle suit where he has a grand, big ass cannon in his hands, and he tells Lois to get Superman and everybody right out of the way as fast as possible. And as soon as she does, Lex blasts the entire battle in front of him with this giant cannon, and what that blast does is shrink it down into a bottle because it's Brainiac technology. He has shrunken down the Radiance, his followers, and Doomsday all down into a glass jar. Um, and with his hypothesis, if Brainiac's bottles can hold Kryptonians and Zarnians, well, they can certainly hold Doomsday. And, well, that it does. Superman, while grateful for Luthor putting a stop to the fight, also is not too happy about the fact that Radiant and his army are trapped in there with Doomsday, which gives Radiant exactly what he wants. He's not 100% convinced about all this, but Lena comes flying in at the last second and says, "Look, y'all need to stop right now. It's Jimmy. He's hurt." Um, Clark goes and visits him with Perry and Shaban also by his bedside. Shaban obviously very upset. Clark goes back to Lois, who is still in costume as Superwoman and just completely disheveled. Very upset with herself on getting Jimmy hurt. But before they can get into too much of how she's feeling, Shaban arrives as Silver Banshee, screaming at the pair, screaming that it's their fault that the man that she loves is in a coma because he was trying to get a picture of you, Superwoman. I don't even know who you are or what your significance is or why you're trying to hide it, but now you have me, your first arch enemy. Um, yeah,
Dun
so
dun
yeah,
dun.
that's happening. Lois then turns to Clark and says, maybe this is the start of what Time Trapper is warning us about. And for the first time in my life, I'm afraid of the future. And that conveniently cuts us over to Zod's spaceship in the middle of deep space, who still has no powers and no sign of his powers. Zod is making sure that secret is kept, as the one person that was examining his body and knows this secret was quickly killed by him, but not before they um, suggest maybe go into a yellow sun to try and recharge your solar cells. Um, but no, Zod just thinks, I don't need them. I can kill anybody anyway. And then we jump to the end of time where Time Trapper had escaped from that blast that would have trapped him as well in the glass jar. Um, and instead of doing whatever it is he wanted to do, he instead is found by three very evil looking beings. And it took me a minute to figure out who these three are. But upon closer inspection, it is Lightning Lad, Cosmic Boy, and Saturn Girl, but not the ones we're familiar with.
Omega
They are
5.
actually, yes, from the Omega universe, Dark Side world, the absolute universe, if you will, the Omega Legion, Dark Side's Legion, whatever you want to call them. They are the evil Legion.
The Legion of Omega Heroes.
Could be. Yeah, they could have all sorts of names. They are there at the end of time to speak to Time Trapper to make him tell them everything he knows about this Superman character. Bum bum bum.
Bum bum bum.
Yeah.
Yes. So that is to be continued this summer at the Summer of Superman, and be here next month for Superman versus Mercy. Apparently. Um, yeah. So this issue, being a kind of end to the arc, in a way, I kind of liked it. It was an interesting little arc. I'm very curious though with where this story fits in, where the Lex Luthor special fits into the timeline. I guess it takes place after this arc? I feel like it must.
Possibly,
Um,
yeah.
so I'm curious how that's going to be factored into the story going forward. And I hope they make reference of it next issue or something.
Mm.
Crazy that Jimmy's in a fucked up coma. Um, Lois has
Sad.
an arch enemy. Luthor is a hero, but Superman's still not convinced. Legion of Evil Superheroes is here. There's a lot happened in this issue. Um, but I feel like it was a good Superman issue. Right? There was exactly what you'd expect in Superman. There was action, there was suspense, there was superpowers. And I don't know what more you could ask for from an issue of Superman in today's world. Uh, Very good art as well. I guess you could ask for that as well, but I think that's a given at this point.
We got
It's
it.
going to get an 8.75 for me.
Yeah, this is a 8.5 for me. Like Rob said, stellar art. It has the action, it has the super, it has the man, it has everything you could want. And hell of a cliffhanger too. I was not expecting to see the what we'll call the Omega verse, not that Omega verse, Omega Universe,
Yeah.
a Legion of Supervillains, which is a cameo. Is not expecting to see this soon, potentially factoring in to Superman. And I have to wonder, we're supposedly getting Ultimate Invasion coming this year. Could there be an absolute invasion? Not such a
Ooh.
blatant ripoff, but maybe something
Yeah.
to that effect that introduces this evil future into our universe. So uh, definitely very excited to see where that leads and how that factors into what comes next with Superman. But puts this issue in particular puts our heroes in a kind of difficult spot, and wondering how that will set up what comes next with Lois's arc as Superwoman, with Clark and everything he's dealing with the red kryptonite and everything else with Doomsday. So there's a lot to look forward to. But as a somewhat conclusion, I thought this was pretty good. So 8.5, like I said, definitely looking forward to next month with Mercy Graves, I guess.
Yeah.
All right. For me, the level of crazy is bombastic in here. There's so many players. Superman, Superwoman, Timekeeper, Doomsday, Radiant, Jimmy, Silver Banshee, General Zod, the Legion of Omega Tards, and um anybody else that was in the background. It's too much in one book, and now after starting to like it for a number of months, I'm instantly afraid that this is all going to fall apart soon. Though the art looks amazing, it really does. Colors too. There was way too much story crammed into too few pages, and it was so busy that very little gained any traction with me. Um, I guess this one can have a 7. I'm not ready to put it down yet, but it definitely reminded me of who was writing this.
Yeah. I know the bits with Zod and the Evil Legion, I just chalk those up to like an epilogue.
Mm.
That's what they felt more like to me. Is instead of like actually part of the story, is more like an epilogue to the arc. If that means anything, if that makes a
Yeah,
difference.
it's not like a conclusion or anything. It's just stuff that will be coming soon.
Cool. How about you?
We already did our stuff, so you were the last one.
Oh, I thought, that's right. Okay, never mind. Well, if that's the case, let's cruise on over to Superman, shall we?
We
Justice
could,
League.
but we
Or,
already
I
did
mean,
it.
Justice League Unlimited. My bad.
I mean, we
And
can stay with
having too
Superman,
many
but I don't think
sandwiches
you'd.
there, Josh.
Yeah, I don't think you'd like that very much. Justice League Unlimited, #4, written by Mark Waid, art by Dan Mora, colors by Tamara Bonvillain, and letters by Ariana Moore. The book continuing to prove that literally everyone you know is on the Justice League or could potentially be drafted by the Justice League. Your mother could be drafted by the Justice League for all you
You
know.
just don't
You
know.
just don't know. Maybe the Justice League needs help with their taxes or something, and they're like, "We need your parents," and they're coming with us. And Mr. Terrific will show up, and he'll already have your face on a card, because that's basically how this issue starts.
Bob, Martha,
Yep,
congratulations.
you're in the Justice League. But with the Amazon forest still ablaze and Swamp Thing burned alive in the previous issue, there's pretty much only one person with a connection to the Green that can save the day, that being Tiffy Holland, the daughter of Abigail Arcane and Alec Holland. And at first, she's like, hell no, I'm not joining the Justice League. But after sensing the disruptions in the Green, she reluctantly decides to go along with Mr. T to just kind of help him take care of this. Not because she has any intention of joining the Justice League, but mostly just to preserve the Green. Tiffy's arrival helps Tiffy's arrival helps revive the wildlife in the Amazon momentarily, but the sudden arrival of a flaming Dr. Occult sets back the momentum. As all of this is going on, a world away, all the way in Egypt, Batman is able to track down Martian Manhunter, who had kind of gone AWOL in issue 2, and gives him a pep talk, just reminding him that he is the heart and soul of the Justice League, and urges him to come back while promising that he will help find a solution to everything that's going on with his unstable powers. But while that's happening back in the Amazon, well, they seemingly had a little bit of momentum. That has now been knocked back. So Aquaman and Tiffy decide to enter the Green to head off the problem at the source and manage to hold off one of Inferno's mages, but he fires back with a psychic blast. But then Tiffy's able to use her magic connection with Aquaman to utilize his aquakinesis and summon the Parliament of Trees to help them fight the mage, and in doing so, drive the Inferno mage away and allows Levi to then reforest the Amazon with maximum effect. So it looks like a victory for the Justice League against Inferno, but may not be as much of a victory as they think. While the heroes have sustained a victory against Inferno, things are not as good as they might seem, as the experience has rattled them, leaving them confused, irritable, and unprepared for what comes next, something which Inferno is going to use to their advantage. And this is all coming to them courtesy of the mole that they have on the inside airwave, which that last reveal on the final page felt like it should have been the reveal of airwave as the traitor. But obviously we already know that from issue 1, so it was a little weird to me. Like, we already kind of know he's the mole, didn't need to remind us again. It felt like that would have been better served if they hadn't revealed that in the first issue. But anyway, no, this issue was great. Wrapped up the little Amazon rainforest mini arc, if you want to call it that. Perfectly sets up Inferno as maybe taking the loss in this particular fight, but still having the greater advantage in the war against the Justice League, as they seemingly are just kind of in disarray after everything that happened. So it really just leaves me wondering, who the hell is Inferno? And we kind of have an idea of what they want, but it's still very vague. It's not global domination like they said. It's some kind of subjugation of superheroes, but to what degree, to what extent, what are they hoping to achieve in the long run? So that's what I'm really interested in. But this book definitely succeeds at getting that mystery, while also delivering just the epic Justice League moments, and like I said, bringing in literally everyone from the DC universe to be a part of the Justice League. Because who would have thought that Tiffy Holland would be working alongside Aquaman, to fight off a bunch of supervillains? So really awesome stuff here as usual, and looking forward to the next issue. Oh, and 8.75 as well. This is going to be a tough week to score because everything was just really good.
And TV
So
Holland,
rank.
that was the last person I would have expected to pop up here.
Yeah.
They continues to surprise me. Like Brandon was saying, it's good though. I like it, man. Here we are. Her role makes sense. How badass Levi is in this issue makes me super happy. They wrap up the Inferno caused by Inferno, but Airwave's still inside. Inferno has much larger plans, it seems. So I'm guessing they're the new legion of supervillains. I think it's pretty interesting. It feels like a lot, but at a slow pace, which feels weird. But the story is really good. The art is amazing. I liked it. 8 out of 10.
I'm still not happy that Airwave is a mole. I'm hoping it's a patsy. I'm hoping that there's some reason Airwave is not really a mole. I'm hoping it's mind control. Apart from that, love this book. This issue as a wrap up to the arc, really well done. Growing the league like that. They're really pushing the unlimited part of this Justice League book, and I really, really appreciate that. And I hope they come up with more. I hope Mark Waid specifically, I say they, but I mean Mark Waid, can come up with many more challenges for the Justice League where they need to pull in all sorts of people that you wouldn't expect. Hell, even having what's with the surgence of Dr. Occult recently? He's in 2 books this week. When's the last time he was in any book regularly? Right,
not since some issue of Justice League Dark, probably.
Yeah. It's really cool to see that it can grow so big so quickly. Batman and Martian Manager having their own little tete-a-tete was really cool, and really Mark Waid hitting home that aspect of Martian Manager has always been the heart and soul of the Justice League. He's been the constant. Take that, whoever thought up the roster for the New 52 League.
Thank you. Oh my God, Rob, you're validating me, and I feel so happy.
Yes.
I have no other words.
He has been on pretty much every iteration of the league except for that one.
And take a bow. Take a bow, sir. Take a bow, Mark Waid.
Oh, Mark Waid, yeah.
Jesus, that's long.
Yeah. No, definitely, yeah. Like, fuck, he should always be on the league, always.
Agreed.
Yes.
Even the rosters that nobody likes, like
Yeah.
Justice League Detroit.
Justice League Extreme.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually don't know if he was on that team, but maybe,
No, he should have been though.
Should have.
probably.
Would have
Yeah,
made it better.
yeah.
Uh, what was the other thing? Right. So little teases that one member of Inferno that was in the green knows Arthur. Did y'all catch that?
Uh, I think yeah. They said
He
some line
said
about it being his mortal enemy or
old,
something.
yeah, an old enemy or mortal
Yeah.
enemy or
Hmm.
something like that. I don't know if that was just like a dig or like a random line, but it felt a little
I mean, I doubt it. It's
purposeful.
random.
Yeah, it felt a little purposeful.
It's
Um,
probably Ocean Master.
could be.
Hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah, I was thinking potentially because they've mentioned the word Doom a few times, and I was wondering if it was at all possible that Inferno was just a cover for a reformed Legion of Doom trying to operate more in secret, and that maybe it's bringing back not all of the people from the original Legion of Doom roster, but some of them, and so it could be that this is Black Manta in disguise, possibly return to villainy after Aquaman. Who knows? But I could see it going in that direction, given that the next issue is supposedly going to focus on the Legion of Doom in some way, at least from the cover.
Yeah. So it could be like a Legion of Doom Unlimited as well,
Mhm.
like an expanded roster. But I swear to God, if it is Black Manta and they do that reveal where he takes off the hood and it's just the Manta helmet, I'm gonna lose my
Uh,
shit.
you're gonna hate it, and then you're gonna love it, and then you're gonna hate it again.
It's so dumb, but it's so cool at the same
Yeah.
time.
So,
Yeah.
well, I think that is the books, guys.
Hang on. Slow your roll there,
Whoa.
Super Chief.
Hold up.
I haven't given my score yet.
Yeah.
It's just about to. I am going to give this a 9 out of 10, and it will retroactively get a 9.25, as will every issue of this run if it's revealed that Airwave is not actually a villain.
Jesus Christ.
Keep
All
that in
right,
mind
and
for 6 months from now.
Timestamp this episode.
because it's literally the only thing I care about in this book.
Yes, it is. I'm happy the Justice League is here, and I'm
Mm.
happy that it's unlimited. But goddamn, when has Airwave ever been in the Justice League? No. He gets a shot, and all of a sudden he's a mole for the bad guys. Fuck that noise.
Rob wants justice for the Jordan family.
I do.
I understand
Damn
that.
it. Airwave is the best Jordan.
Mm.
Yeah.
Do you prefer this airwave or the, I guess, younger airwave that is also a Jordan that also shares the same name? Is there a difference between the two?
I think
don't
it's the
even
same
know.
one.
Yeah. Well, I thought it was like there was this airwave that had been on the Orphan Island that whole time, and then there was the other
Yeah.
airwave that was named after his fucking uncle or something.
Yeah. No, I think
Yeah.
I think it is still the same Airwave because the same suit, same name and everything.
Oh,
But
okay.
the idea they're going for is that Airwave that debuted in Green Lantern 100 was taken from time.
I see.
Yeah.
But then who was the airwave at the Jordan family reunion from the Green Lantern?
In that annual. I know I keep
Yeah.
thinking about that. Which was he was a little older there too.
Yeah.
I think despite that being the best issue of the run, that might just be an out of continuity story.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Much like the annual from the Green Lantern run that we now talk about.
What run?
Yes.
Exactly.
Which one?
Don't worry about it.
Grant Morrison or Jeremy Adams?
Neither. We talk about
Exactly.
those.
Yeah.
Those are the only two runs in recent memory.
It's because we don't talk about it.
Don't talk about what?
Exactly.
All right. Oh God. Okay. All right. Let's move on over to our top three books and our favorite moment of the week. I'll go first. Number three is getting Green Arrow thrown in there. Number two is going to be Detective, and number one is Green Lantern. However, my favorite moment is coming from Justice League United, and it is big ass swamp thing at the end of that. That was so sick.
That was cool.
Absolutely loved it. And my favorite cover, I'll show it to remind everybody, is gonna be Green Lantern. Detective was great. It really was. Where was the Detective? That's a really, really good cover,
That
but
was.
Green Lantern is just mwah, good
Yeah.
shit. All right, now what about you guys?
I'm kind of having trouble with my number three, but I think it's going to go to Detective Comics. My number two is going to be probably Justice League Unlimited, and then number one will be Green Arrow. Favorite moment? Well, I'll start with favorite cover is also going to be Green Lantern number 20. I can't deny how good that issue is, or that cover is. My honorable mention for cover would be Green Arrow, but this Green Lantern cover is just freaking gorgeous. Um, Favorite moments? I'm honestly still having trouble with, but might be, yeah, Kyle and Green Lantern getting into the temple and just going full on Indiana Jones.
Mm. Yeah, full on Indiana Jones. He
Yeah,
even generated a fucking fedora. That was
yeah,
awesome.
Mm.
All
that was awesome.
right, Brandon, how about you? What's your top three and your favorites?
Oh man, this was a tough one. But as I'm going through it again, I think my top three honestly might be the same as Rob, with Detective Comics at three, Justice League Unlimited at two, and Green Arrow at number one. But it was tough. There were so many good books this week.
Yeah.
Favorite cover, if I'm being honest with myself, would probably be one that is not from a book that we read in this lineup. It would probably
Oh,
be Metamorpho number three. I just something about
I don't
the
have it
look of
loaded
that.
up.
Yeah, if you look it up, you'll be able to see it. But something about the whole composition of that and like the way that Java is like so smugly looking towards the reader is like I just every time I look at it, I feel like I'm about to bust out laughing. But of the covers that we read this week, my favorite probably would be Detective Comics, with my favorite moment going to Justice League Unlimited number four, the last panel where they're at wherever the Inferno secret base is, and the hooded guy is like trees. You were defeated by trees, which is true. He was in fact defeated by trees,
Yeah.
which
Yep,
is awesome, but also sad for him.
but super cool.
That would
Well,
be.
all right. I guess that's it.
Yeah.
For like the whole show. Thank you everybody for watching. We will be back next week covering all of DC's weekly releases. Same geek time, same geek channel ish. And that's the show. We're getting out of here, so you'll have to as well. Be careful out there and remember in the Geek Matrix, everybody has a home. In the Geek Matrix, you are not alone.
Peace.
Okay, there we go.